Yes, so.
What's going on, fellas?
Oh man, one love. Thanks for the patience, gentlemen. Terry Dread. I'm
Yes,
AKA I'm AKA Sheik today, brother.
let's see what you're working with.
Can you see that?
Ah, I like it.
Hey, I'm AKA Sheik today, brother.
I like it.
That's what's up. Feek, what's up, my guy?
What's up, man?
I don't know, man. We great be hip hop.
Yeah, that's what it was born as. What is it now?
Oh shit. I see you ready.
No, I'm just saying. I'm
You
just
right.
saying. What is it now?
You dead on track, bro. I don't know what to call it now. Mumble rap.
No, it's commercial. It's commercial. That's what it's called. Man.
Okay.
That's what I call it anyway.
I ain't gonna argue with that.
But it's like how many hoods in America, right? In every hood there's somebody that can rap or got word skills.
Right?
So if I find one person in every hood and they hungry, I can give them anything, right?
That's a sad reality right there, bro.
You know what I mean? I can give them anything, make them sign on the dotted line, and take their culture from them.
Ooh-wee.
That's what I'm seeing right now because it was born in what the Bronx, right?
That's what they say.
Born in the Bronx on the playgrounds, right?
That's what them say.
How come we never monetize that shit, man? We wait for somebody else to come monetize our shit. So
That,
that's
my
what I see.
friend,
You know?
that is a great, great, great question. How
Yeah.
come we haven't monetized our own shit?
Just think about it. The only, I mean, if when we think about it, when we go back, like the only like executive that I saw, like, and not even that much was what that was Russ with Def Jam.
Yeah, Russ was the first mogul, right?
Yeah, yeah, he was the first one.
Right.
Everybody else, I saw them doing all the work, man. Not none of the executive, not signing the paychecks and stuff. So,
Word.
but alas, we still have, it's our culture, and it's alive still. I'm still claiming it. I'm still claiming it. I need to dust it off a little bit though. Put some new
Uh-huh.
clothes on it a little bit, you know. But I still claim it, man.
Oh, absolutely. I live it.
Yeah,
That's the life, my
exactly.
guy. You know what I'm saying? I still carry
Absolutely.
a backpack. You know what I mean?
So I mean, at some points I act like I don't love her, but I do. It's like a marriage,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So
So I guess we should formally introduce our topic tonight. I'm gonna let one of y'all handle the introduction to that. I don't want to mess it up.
mess it up. We're
Yeah.
just talking about the hip hop and the way we see it.
Okay.
That's the way we see it, and we already kind of started off talking about it.
Yeah. The state of current
What's
state of
hip
hip
hop
hop.
to you? And is
What's
it
hip hop
rap?
to me?
Is it rap? Is it the clothes? Is it the dancing? Is it the style? What is it?
I think it's all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why Eminem should not be what some claim him to be.
Wow. I agree. He's the Elvis Presley of rap. I get it.
You ever listen to his lyrics, man? All he talk about is beating up his moms.
He get a little deeper than that sometimes. But it's a lot of pain. It's a lot.
Good.
It's a lot of pain that guys like us who grew up like we grew up would probably laugh at, man. It's like it's really it doesn't come out to be like really serious topics to me. I'm sure they're serious to him, but it ain't no life altering shit to me. You know what I'm saying? So I feel
Yeah.
you on that. I like him though. I like him. I think he's better than most. But lyrically. I mean, as far as I ain't gonna say lyrically, just style wise. Like, yeah, I mean, he's very polished. You know what I mean? I can't take it no deeper than that. But he is good. Boy, the white boy got skills.
Well, I'll just use your words. He ain't no deeper than that. That's all I say is somebody screaming, putting lyrics together. There's no feeling behind it. I mean, he's talking about like I said, just
I don't think no black rapper could ever
I
do it.
can't relate. That's all. I say I
I feel
can't
you on
relate.
that.
That's all.
No matter how much I like Stan from a lyrical standpoint, I don't think not one black rapper could have got away with that shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't think it would have flowed.
You bumping that in the ride?
Uh, well, bump it in the ride. It's in my rotation, but I don't bump it in the ride. No,
Yeah, I don't even have
I
that.
I like a little more depth to my lyrics. I'm like you know what I mean. In that respect, I like a little more depth to my lyrics,
Yeah,
man.
I don't,
So
it's not even in my rotation, man. I can't even quote one thing you said, man.
I like the hook of the song, man. I think that's what got me on Stan.
I
Like,
can't quote them.
but to prove your point, they did a remake to Stan, right? And ironically, he went from the white girl Ditto, I think that's her name, to Dito or whatever her name. The remix is with Elton John. It doesn't get any fucking whiter than that.
Yeah,
So I mean, that just kind of speaks to the whole point that we talking about right now, right? Where's the state of hip hop at?
yeah,
I think we were speaking about this a little earlier in the week to you and I, and Dred, both of y'all might remember this, man, because I don't know how big of a Wu Tang head you was, Feek, but like you know what I mean. RZA did an interview, man, towards the end of their dynasty, man, and he was like, 20 years from now, he wouldn't be surprised if black people are the minority in rap. You know what I mean? Because I guess he seen at that time that it was being siphoned away from us, man. You know what I'm saying? At an aggressive rate. You did. Having said that, man, me and L was speaking with this whole. Uh, I guess it started with the pandemic and then the election, and we were speaking like as to like why nobody really dropping nothing heavy, like no nothing conscious.
yeah. KRS just put something out though.
Yeah. We then and like towards the middle, I guess what a couple months ago, L, we got blessed with King's Disease by Nas. We got
Yeah,
blessed with Extinction Level 2, Buster. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like you
Buster's
said,
new joint is nice too,
oh
man.
man. We got blessed with Chris, blessed us with something decent. You know what I mean? And I'm still gonna big up my guy, Dread. Tip joint is nice, man. Tip and Killer Mike. You gotta check it out, Dread.
Yeah, Killer Mike on some rock and roll though. He got his producing. His producer got a lot of Hendrix type sounds in it. You know what I mean?
That could be dope.
Yeah, yeah.
That could be
They
dope.
do it. They do it a little different. I mean, just like uh, the brother out of Houston, Toby does it different. You know.
Way differently. Yeah,
Yeah.
I still wasn't crazy about that that wake up everybody piece. Like it did. I mean, it was dope. It was dope. Don't get me wrong. It was dope. But me just being a Teddy fan, man, like he
Well,
lyrically,
nobody gonna cover it like the original.
well, he didn't even try. That's what I respected about him. I answered your
Yeah, I'm not gonna
post
try to
back.
cover that
Yeah, I said,
in the same way.
and he
Yeah,
was
I'm
smart
not.
enough to bring help.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, that's his team.
I understand that, but he was smart enough not to try to attempt that by himself. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we
I don't
look
know where
at
the
him.
white boy fit in and all that, but
We look at that a little differently. That's his team, man. They covered that together, man. So
that's what I'm saying. If he tried that by himself, man,
he was the orchestrator of that. So
I
that's how I
understand.
look at it.
Yeah, Teddy ain't had nobody when he did it.
He did so. He had the Blue Notes with him.
Man, that's all Teddy, bro. You know that. Cut that out. Cut
Man,
that
he
out.
still had them in the background. Come on,
They ain't
man.
sing one lyric, man. They
They
just
were dancing.
harmonized in the back.
It's
Teddy was
still part of
carrying.
the team.
Teddy was carrying them, man. Come on, man.
It's
I
still
mean, having
part of
said
the
that,
team.
I wasn't turned off by the rendition of it at all.
Okay. Yeah, it was that was a good cover, man. If you're gonna
Listen,
cover
listen,
something, don't
don't fuck
try
it
to
up.
be like that. If you don't have the chops, like
Right.
what's the name? B did
Hey, hey.
good. She did it.
Hey.
She covered it all right.
I don't think so.
She,
Before I let go,
you
let me cover
can't
my.
cover it like he gonna cover it. That's just not that's uncoverable if you're gonna try to do it that way.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Certain things you just gotta leave alone.
No, he said they
He,
asked him about that. They said, "What do you think about her covering?" He said, "Man, listen, I'm honored. Man, you know who B is. I'm honored. He said she exposed me to a whole new audience. You know,
I, yeah,
them royalties, man. Give me
yeah.
that money.
I ain't listen, man. Listen,
The
I'm
more
just
she
saying. I think she
sell, the
did.
more he get. So that's all about, man.
I just think she did a horrible job at trying to. I just think she did a horrible job at trying to. He should have stayed away from that. But looking at it from that perspective you just mentioned, man, you know what I mean. I think she was more on the tribute side of things in her mind when she was doing it.
Yeah, you can't cover you can't cover
Them
it.
notes, man. Only Frankie can hit them notes, brother.
Yeah, you can't cover it like him. You pay tribute and you do the best you can and using your you using your artistry. So that's what I saw.
Yeah, I think the boy dope though.
Yeah.
The boy dope. He different. He
Well,
way
that's
he
that's
he,
that's
he
that's a
necessary.
that's the part of hip hop that I
That
like, man.
is
I like different kind of artists, man.
that is hip hop. Man, I like Gary Clark Jr., bro. I think Gary Clark Jr. is a hip hop artist, man. You serious?
I ain't never heard him. Say it again.
What? Gary Clark Jr.
Oh, I never heard of him, man.
Oh,
I'm
you
gonna
gotta
have to
check him
look him
out.
up, man.
He's
I
like
ain't
a
gonna front.
he's like a retro blues artist, blues rock and roll type of dude, man.
Yeah, I ain't gonna front, man.
Yeah, Gary Clark Jr. Nice, man.
And while we talking about different, y'all might agree. I think Black Thought is different.
Thought I think Thought is like an apex predator in the game if he so chooses to be. Well, nobody want to fuck.
He don't choose to be though.
He chooses to give you
It's
love.
it's, it's purely an art form for him.
He chooses to give you love.
Yeah, it's purely about the art form for him. So he's not commercializing any of that. So
Hey, Ellen Nas,
Yo,
what you think about that Black Thought Funk Flex joint?
that's a classic. What you mean? That's the best funk flex.
it went for like an hour.
Close. What you saying?
It's the best joint I seen on flex.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he did that one take
that's him, man.
as an MC. As you being an MC, a dope MC, I might add one take.
Yeah.
Whew. All that,
Yeah.
all that in one take.
Like I said, man, that's the best funk master flex one mic joint that I can think of that I've seen.
Yeah,
He set the standard.
he crazy man. He raised the bar so high, it's ridiculous, man.
Then
You know,
everybody tried to come behind him and do like
Yeah, he
extended
definitely raised the
versions.
bar.
Yeah,
He definitely raised the bar.
Cash was on Funk Flex like this. They was reading their joint, cuz trying to keep up with that joint, man.
yeah,
Yeah, Thought's one of my favorite MCs, man. Ironically,
yeah. He burned the stage down, man. Nobody couldn't get on there after that, man.
yeah, I had an interesting introduction to the Roots, man. Um, I don't remember. I used to work in the check cashing store, cash checks. Dredge, you know the boy Air Smooth, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
That was my guy. Big up, hip hop, Philly hip hop legend Air Smooth. Cheers, that was my man. Um, he had some kind of job at 117 North Broad Street, the city building. And they had this organization called Goopop. I don't know what it stood for, but it was Goopop. Anyway, it took like young kids and they gave them like job. They do anti graffiti removal, little what they call it, community work, community service type work. And they would get little checks. They would come with little checks for $48. And because I knew Smooth, he brought Tariq and Malik in there and some other girl named well anyway. He brought them in there and was like, "Yo, can you cash their checks?" These cats they had no bank accounts or nothing, so I used to just bust their little jaw and give them their bread. So they came back one day and was like, "Yo, man, we rap." I'm like, "Yeah, let me hear what y'all got." So they came back next day. They gave me a tape, man. It was their first song. It was called "Distortion of Static," and that joint was like so light years ahead of everybody else. Dope. they couldn't even sell in the United States. They had to go overseas first and make and get their name and they bread up. You know what I'm saying? But that was my introduction to the roots, man. You know what
Give
I'm
me
saying?
give me a circa what 80 what or
Oh
90
no, that
what?
was 90, maybe around 94, 95, maybe.
Okay,
Maybe. I don't know
okay,
when they I don't I'll tell you exactly. I can't remember when they first came out, but it was somewhere in there.
okay,
I know it was before, yeah, about 93, 94.
okay. That's a hell of a story, man.
Yeah. Every time I run into thought, when I do run into him in the streets, a few times I have run into him past that, I always stop him and ask him, do you remember who I am, man? I tell him that story, man. And he'd be like, yeah. I was like, yeah. They was just getting ready to go overseas. They gave me that tape.
Okay, that's what's up, man. That's a hell of a story, man. My introduction to the Roots was here in the DMV, man. I went to one of their concerts. By that time, you know, we're talking about early, well, late 2000s. They already crossed over, man. I was in there with a bunch of white folks, man.
I think that was always their core audience, though, to be honest with you, man.
Yeah, yeah. I was surprised. I mean, I was surprised. We were standing in line. I was looking around. I was like, man, it's not what I thought it was gonna be. But we still had a good time, man. Real good time, man.
The only thing I like about the Roots, man, what I always thought made them a phenomenal hip hop group was their, 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 their love of the music, man. Like, they wasn't just some turntables and some speaker dudes, man. You know what I mean? They had a whole ensemble, man. They had like damn near
Weren't
an
they the first
orchestra.
ones to do it like that with the band
I would ven-
as a group
I would
and
venture to
as
say
performers? They were the first ones to do the live band.
I would venture to say yes.
Yeah,
You might be a little bit more of an authority on that than I am.
yeah. I think they were the first ones to do it like that, like of the modern hip hop artists. I mean, we want to go back. You know, it was Gil who did it.
Yeah, chill for Dread Star quote some more last post like he did last week. That spawned
Now
this whole hip hop conversation.
I got a whole different arsenal set up this week.
Oh shit.
he said, he said he
Listen,
got a whole
I'm
arsenal.
gonna tell you what I told Feet. I'm a student this week, man. I'm falling back, guys. I want to hear this, man. I know you loaded, and the people deserve to hear
Yeah,
it.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm the number one hip hop fan
Oh, but you
of
aficionado.
all of us at all, man. So I just know the roots of it, man.
Hey,
And I
Feet,
know
go
when we
ahead with
was
that
coming,
shit, man. I know your love for music, man, and I know your archives, man. Go ahead with that bullshit, man. Never trying to hear that.
I'm
You
just
official.
saying, man.
You a hip hop aficionado, nigga.
I got some stuff. I got a rack of stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
it,
I know what your collection look like.
I got a rack of music, man. So that ain't gonna never be. I ain't gonna never be without music, man.
Ah, man,
So
music makes me high, brother.
yeah. So, but yeah, man. I was thinking about we were just talking about we was talking about Russ and the men behind the scenes. I think Dane get a lot of giggles and a lot of scrutiny.
Bashing,
But yeah, I think Dane he did a lot for that group, man. That whole movement. So
Rockefeller.
behind the scenes, you know, he comes off a little bit, you know, he comes off a little shady and whatnot sometimes. You know, if you listen to all that he puts out there, you sometimes you're like, ah. But how I remember him is he was the man behind the scenes on of that whole Rock Nation. Um, without without him, I don't think we get the full effect of Jay Z. Man, that's just my opinion. You know, he did a little bit behind the scenes, man. Like I said, He comes off a little clownish at times, but I think he had a major contribution to the culture as well. He was one of the first ones who put everybody on game with the culture vulture thing, where he was giving up the game on all the mugs behind the scenes stealing. He was the one who put it out there. So from that aspect and the Rock Nation aspect, I think he's got a solidified place in the hip hop archives as well. I don't know what you guys think about that, but that's my opinion on that.
That's a very interesting perspective. I never thought of Dame like that. Man. I never like you know. I always thought Dame was like a P Diddy clone to a certain extent. I haven't
Yeah, that's what
said
I'm
that.
saying. He get a lot of giggles and everybody kind of look at him, because he's got a lot of stuff out there, you know, on tape. He talks a lot. He's braggadocious and
Right.
sometimes he's a little too loquacious. You know what I mean? But he's done some things, man. Like I said, he put us up on game with the culture vulture thing, man.
Yeah.
Loquacious.
Loquacious.
See, Dred?
You know what I mean? That means you talk too damn much.
You be talking about me though with my words, right?
I'm telling
You be shouting me out all the time, right? You gotta keep up. You know what I'm saying?
Define loquacious.
Loquacious.
Define loquacious.
He just told you.
Here's the definition of loquacious. Tending to talk a great deal. Talkative.
Talk too damn much.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Not only we get hip hop education, we're getting English education as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is ironically a part of the game, right? You gotta have an aggressive, deep vocabulary to be a hip hop artist. But I want to touch on the Dame joint, man. I hear you on that, right? And from a promotion standpoint alone, I'm gonna give Dame some love because I agree with you. Jay probably would not have been promoted as well if it wasn't for Dame being out in front of at least that aspect of it. Having said that, Dame said that when Rockefeller broke up, and Jay was like, "So you said you made me? Well, cool. Then make another Jay Z." And we ain't hear about Dame no more for a long time after that.
Yeah, I mean that's homies breaking up, man, on bad terms. I mean, that's what that is. But yeah, I remember those lyrics.
That was cold blooded.
But you got to remember, we first saw Jay-Z. He came off a little different as well now, right? That's what I'm saying. I think he had a stylist. Dame probably was his stylist after that initial entry into the game. You know what I mean? He probably pulled him back and said, "Come on, bro."
You shout out for that one, bro.
Hawaiian Sophie, come on, man. What we doing here, man? Let me pull you back. Let me peep you on this here. So yeah, man.
That was my introduction to Jay-Z as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly my point. Driven home is that's how we saw him. And then next we saw him doing Reasonable Doubts. That's a hell of a change, ain't it? You go from Hawaiian Sophie to Reasonable Doubts. That's a hell of a change.
Hey Dre, you gotta let me in, man.
What's up?
On the screen sharing.
So you got something?
Stop being selfish, man. I'm gonna try this. It'll be my first.
You gotta be careful though on YouTube, man, with media and stuff, man. They might sue you. They might come after you. So be careful.
We're gonna leave that alone then.
Be careful a little bit. Sometimes they get a little with that
like I can't play the Hawaiian Sophie
shit, the copyright stuff. So
I mean, it depends. If it's already on. Yeah, it certain stuff, man.
Oh, you already you got it.
You trying to play a music video?
Yeah, I was gonna pull up the Hawaiian Sophie joint. We can skip it.
I don't know. It depends, Depends. Like I don't know all the rules, all the
We
details.
I
ain't gonna
know a
fuck with
little
that.
bit.
I'm
I ain't
I
gonna
trying.
know
sit
a
here and
little
act
bit.
like I
Yeah,
just know.
My thing is this: at the end of the day, if it's on YouTube, we sharing it on YouTube. Somebody's sharing it, so it's like,
pretty much a free platform. Free platform. Right. That's what I was thinking. But I'm gonna take heed. I'm gonna take heed, bro. Trying to turn this into money. I ain't trying to spend money. You dig
yeah,
me?
yeah. I mean, at this
But
point,
yeah,
I don't think it's a major issue. Certain things,
Right.
it depends on what I'm doing. Sometimes I take it into deeper
Oh,
consideration.
okay. I just
right. I
want y'all.
got you.
I don't want
Yeah.
nobody coming after.
No, not at all.
Getting
Can't
done.
afford that.
But I mean, I got some stuff I want to share anyway. And
All right.
then too, like with music, I know, sometimes like with that, it's a 15-second rule. Like when I'm editing videos,
Okay.
you know what I mean? If you sample under 15 seconds, it don't usually bounce back. But
Right.
for
Okay.
stuff
So
like this, my general idea is that if it's being shared on YouTube, us sharing it on YouTube, you know, I don't
yeah,
know.
but come
We'll
on,
figure it out.
that's boardroom talk. We can't give other people our secrets, man. We
Yeah.
ain't gonna be on here sharing shit.
I don't want
But
nobody coming after me.
Nah,
so
that's what's
anyway,
up. Really.
I'm going to share this, and whatever happens, happens. You
Roger
know what I
that.
mean? You brought up this boy last week, Charleston White.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he did a video on the subject that we talking about now.
Yes, sir.
And I just want to get y'all thoughts on it because I thought it was pretty interesting.
Is my light too bright, man? Nah, we ain't got Charleston White, bro.
Yeah, it ain't coming up.
Oh wait, y'all not seeing that?
No, I'm not
Uh,
seeing it.
You couldn't hear it neither.
I heard
I heard a
something in the
little bit
background. It was real
in the
muffled, but
background. I didn't hear it too clear though.
All right, let me try it one more time. Just let me know. How about now? You see anything now?
nah, same screen we saw the first time.
We see the screen, but if you hit the video, it's not
Okay. All right, so we'll skip that for now. I got something else we'll jump right into. All right, y'all can see my screen.
yeah.
Uh-oh. Let me start by saying, all right,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go
You
ahead.
want to
Go,
see
go
something?
ahead, get it to it. Go ahead, get it to it.
All that is G Wiz, motherfucker still in my biz. Don't they know my nigga got to fucking kidnap kids? Fuck 'em in they ass, throw 'em over the bridge. That's how it is. My
Let me take that back in case you missed it.
Shit, that shit is played out. All we make is one phone call.
still in my biz. Don't they know my nigga got to fucking kidnap kids? Fuck 'em in they ass, throw 'em over the bridge. That's how it is.
Yeah, bro.
Where we going with that? Where we going with that, Dre?
I mean, I can go all day like that. You know what I mean? Because I grew up very much in tune with the poetry aspect of hip hop lyrics, just what was being said. I can go on all day with lyrics like that. Don't you know my nigga gotta kidnap kids, fuck him in the ass, dump him over a bridge. That's the thing, man. That's a lot of layers to this hip hop conversation. And we're gonna be as bold as to call it a culture and say we abide by it as a culture, then there's a responsibility that comes with that. It doesn't seem like it's being tended to currently, at least not on a wide scale. A lot. When I see how much loyalty we commit to it as a culture, it kind of reminds me of the Christian conversation. Like, what were people doing before they called it Christianity? Like when Christ came, was you know what I'm saying? It's like It's like what the people called, they didn't call themselves Christians at one point. You know what I'm saying? You know, that whole conversation is it's like this, like, you know, back in the late 70s and early 80s when people was just dancing and they had their style and their artwork and they slang. It was a period where it wasn't even called hip hop yet. You know what I mean? It wasn't even referred to as hip hop yet. It was just the culture of the people. And then it was industrialized and the title, the stamp was given to it as hip hop. So my thing is this, like the culture of the people and what we do as a people, as poets, as musicians, as dancers, as stylists, as linguistic artists, if I may. You know what I'm saying? You know, what we do is going to be what we do, whether you call it hip hop. If the word hip hop was erased from our vocabulary, we would still be doing what we do as people. And that's what I appreciate the most. But when you start getting into the term hip hop and the culture, you know, KRS One said it best. He said in one of his interviews, if you got a problem with Africa Bambaataa, you know, you should quit hip hop, referring to the interview that where he was questioned about Africa Bambaataa being a pedophile. He said our leaders in hip hop are beyond reproach, and if you got a problem with it, you should quit hip hop. You know, and these are the founding fathers we talking about. So if this is the culture, and these are the founding fathers. You know, I got to question whether it actually deserves my loyalty on the level of maturity that I've been fortunate enough to reach. And on top of that, it clearly doesn't promote on a wide scale. It has never promoted my longevity, and I just lived long enough to be able to be honest about that. You know, we pass things off by saying it's fun, by saying they're just being young, women saying we're just being sexually liberated. I mean, we pass everything off, and we never really commit the same level of responsibility to it as a culture as we do loyalty. And a lot of times it seems like we celebrate our own demise. We celebrate our own disrespect. We celebrate our own, what's the word, degradation?
What
Did I
is it?
say that correct? Or degrading. You know what I mean? We
What's the
celebrate
word?
all of
I'm sorry. What's the word you saying, brother?
that. Degradation,
Yeah, degradation. Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
degradation. Okay, I just couldn't hear
degradation.
you. Yeah.
We celebrate our own subjugation. You know what I'm saying? We celebrate. I mean, this is what I see on a wide scale, and I just see a lot of excuses being made as to why that's acceptable. People go as far as to say that that's just the music growing, that's just the music changing. But I mean, at the end of the day, when you got artists that, that won't raise their children like according to their lyrics, or won't even allow their children to listen to their music. You know what I mean? You just had a situation with Cardi B. I saw something about her not wanting her daughter to hear the song. You know what I mean? And you know, the first argument people go at is, well, it's all up to the parents, but it's bigger than that. Like the world and how the world is influenced. You know, the artists have a responsibility. I mean, art imitates life, and the artists imitate life, and life imitates the artist, and there's a responsibility that comes with that that's not currently being met when it comes to black music. You know what I mean? I think it's obvious that you know, the wealth is being drained out of our community. Our music is in a state of disharmony. I mean, it's great. It's a lot of it sounds good and feels good. You know, what I mean, we haven't lost that. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna operate according to the magic of who we are, even when you know we being exploited. You know what I mean? Even when the culture is being redesigned into something that seems to be weaponized against us. And this is one of the main factors that I see going on in this thing called hip hop and just black culture in general. You know what I mean? Black music in general. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem as free as it appears to be. You know, when I used to work in the school system, I used to have students that could quote whole pop songs but could barely spell their name. And I would have to explain to them that if you go ring the doorbell of one of these record companies, they won't even give you a job emptying the trash can. So I mean, as big as hip hop has become a multi-billion dollar, perhaps $1 trillion industry, you know, It's not doing a good job at feeding the people that really set the foundation for it. Just like the black church. You know what I mean? You see all this money being passed around, all this shine being passed around, but it's only for an exclusive select group of people that tend to just throw it back in the face of the poor. You know what I'm saying? And it's sickening.
That's real. That's real. And yeah, I remember Cardi B saying she had to turn the music up. That's how she said it too. Like as matter of factly, you know how like when you know something ain't right, I had to turn it off. That's your music. That's your contribution.
They send their children to private school and some more shit. Well,
Yeah.
our children grow up listening to this music. And, one of the excuses that they use is just entertainment. But, the way music hit the soul of our people, man, it seems to be just more than just entertainment. That seems to be a scientific reality that the music affects people's behavior and thought process, especially when you target it a certain way at a certain audience with a certain vibe, certain sound, and you back it financially. You know what I'm saying? Which brings me to another joint that I wanted to share with y'all, if I may. Get y'all thoughts on real quick, man. Um, see what y'all think about this here.
Really rough, particularly on women. But I think it helped change the course of the crack epidemic. I don't know what's this opioid thing, man.
But being a
so
crackhead wasn't cool back then. Being a
What?
crackhead wasn't cool. Now they seem like they're making it cool to be drinking lean and syrup and
it's
to
the
be on
most
the
dangerous.
pill.
It's the most
Perks and
dangerous
Mollies and-
thing that's facing our society.
Are you
So why sign an artist that would promote that?
Because I already answered that question. You weren't paying attention. She asked me talent or issues, and I said talent. But I have to. I can't give up on people.
But I'm saying that's hypocritical, though. You're saying the
It's
opioid problem's a problem.
opportunistic.
Yeah.
I got people to feed. I got a business to run.
You're gonna make Dame Dash take this clip and call you a culture vulture.
Who's Dame Dash? You brought him up. I don't even know him. Yeah. So you bring his name up. I don't even know him. So
y'all made a lot of money together.
Made a lot of money.
Come on, Leo. Don't do that to him.
I don't know him. I really don't. So, I don't know what to tell you. I won't.
I had to change my glasses, man. Man, spitting in my eyes, man. Dang.
Bill was that bright.
I had to change my glasses, man. He was spitting in my eyes, man. That's the reality. That's the reality. What he said, and he punctuated it, man. They asked him direct questions. He didn't have any answer for those direct questions. And when they asked him about the culture vulture statement that I talked about earlier, Dame made that he made that notable in the hip hop space. The man that he made a lot of money with, he said, I don't even know him.
So
who is Damon Dash?
So do you think that's true? Does he know Dame?
Huh?
Does he know Dame?
Yeah.
I would say so.
Exactly, man.
I would say that's a flat out fucking lie. You know
exactly. They put him on the spot, man. And that's what happens. In my experience, when you know you're doing wrong, man, you deflect, man. That was thanks for sharing that, man. I had to put my glasses on. Dang. That was good, man.
So for me, right?
Damn.
It's kind of hard, man, when it's just the same old recipe, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you asked the perfect question earlier, man. Why do we not monetize our own shit, man? You know what I mean? Why is that dude? What's his name? Leo. What's Leo?
Leo
Whoever he is.
Cohen.
Right. Why is he even fucking relevant? And when the
We had a
conversation
conversation,
in the conversation about hip hop, like why is he even being? You know what I'm saying?
but remember, at Illinois the other day, we kind of like broke ground on a little bit of the topic tonight. And I asked the same question. I said, where the hell Easy E meet Jerry Heller at? You know what I mean? Where they meet at?
Right.
You don't meet him on the street somewhere. You meet him in them rooms, man.
I mean, easiest at the party. What you trying to say?
And meet him in them rooms, man. And that's when they try to get you to sign on them contracts, man.
Yeah. That's a very interesting clip, man.
Man, it spoke to the very heart of the issue that we talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Monetizing the
The state
culture,
of hip hop, man. Wow.
you know?
So if it's controlled by the same ethnic group that were the oppressors, that says a lot, don't it? That's saying it's being dictated by somebody not of your genius. And I don't mean um, as far as music. I mean your genius in life, your ethnic genius, like you know what I mean? That means that these so what you saying, I guess what that clip is saying was in terms of these new cats, man, they basically being told exactly what to do and what to put out. And they're being sought after because they're yes men and they're going to do whatever this dude who's cutting this check for you is going to tell you to do. So that to me, I would surmise that that means that the originality does not exist. Originality does no longer exist in music in hip hop music.
Yeah,
Because
remember the
they got
movie?
so they got kind of like I guess like a what be considered a double agent in terms of espionage in
I
terms of
think it,
government that you know they got a double agent. They got somebody from you killing the image of you to keep you down on a mass scale. And when y'all spoke to vibration and you know how vibration is used to control certain esoterics, you know that just you know kind of ushers all of that in. You know what I mean? Because you know who the black hip hop A&Rs? Why isn't the dude like what's my man name? Down South Paul Dre, what's his name?
Who that?
The mogul from down south. Got all the southern rappers. Put them on.
Master
Lou,
P?
No. The boy that put Master P on.
Lou,
No, not Luke. He don't he not a rapper. He just like a behind the scenes industry boy. Oh man,
Jay Prince?
Jay Prince. Why isn't Jay Prince a fucking
are you
billionaire?
talking about the boy out of Houston?
Yeah, why isn't he a
Jay
billionaire in the
Prince.
hip hop game? I know he got long paper, but why he
Well,
not a
he
behind?
is. He just not as publicized. But yeah,
He's a billionaire.
I don't know about billionaire.
But I'm saying, well, who he is and what he represented, and what he did for the game.
Oh, you
Why,
saying? I see.
why isn't he a billionaire?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
You remember that movie Brown Sugar, right?
Yeah, that was a heavy clip, son.
It was heavy. It was heavy because they forecasted it. You look at the scene they brought in the hip hop Dalmatians. Remember hip hop Dalmatians, and
Brennan 10.
they was corny as hell, right? My man was sitting behind. He was sitting behind the screen. He was like, "Yo, I can't do this." And the producer dude said, "You gonna do this?" He
Right.
made him do it, and he had to stand on principle and quit.
Cabby. Yeah.
But they forecasted it. That movie was in the early 2000s. They forecasted what we now seeing. We got dudes not even rapping. I can't even understand them. But back to Elanage's point, though, I wish that the Charleston White clip would have shown.
I'm still working on it. I ain't give up on it yet.
Man, he spit fire. He spit fire, man.
You saw the one where he was talking about rappers?
Absolutely. He spit fire for like 8 minutes straight. Well, actually, it went a little longer than that, but when he condensed it down to just rappers, he said he spit fire, man. If you're trying to get it, I ain't gonna forecast it, but he spoke to the very issue that you spoke to as well. You know, and he basically said, "Man, fuck them rappers, fuck them."
I saw that piece. Yeah, I did see that piece. Yeah, he went off.
He was talking about the boy from Philly too. He said, "Fuck
Gilly.
that
Yeah, he's talking about Gilly. Yeah,
fuck him."
he went at Gilly hard, cuz.
Man, he murdered him, man.
Yeah,
He murdered him, man. Called him out, man. But yeah, he spit fire. And he spoke to exactly what Ellen and I just talking about, man. And those Biggie lyrics slowed down. That's deep. That's pedophile, that's murder.
you know what?
That's deep.
You know what? Speaking of that, man, first time I heard that song, I was kind of like, what the fuck is Biggie talking about?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I was like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about, bro? Fuck him in the ass.
And
Kids?
then when you really think about it,
Bambada.
I'm just saying, when you really think about it, man, those lyrics, they're like you said, the frequency, the vibration. This is what killers listen to. You know what I mean? Let's be real, man.
Killers listening to
this. What killers
about kids getting fucked in the ass?
No, I'm saying like to get on that vibration.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They living in that. They living in that, man.
They can't kill you without they jam on. I feel you.
Yeah.
She make you numb. It's a hell of, you know what, Feek, man? When you put it like that, there's a hell of a psychology to that, man.
I didn't say it. Eleanor said it. He said it. And the boy Charleston White said it as well.
Yeah. I don't know if the people, well, I'm sure there are people out there who, see it just like that, just like we do. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why that's not a more pungent conversation.
Well,
it hasn't been more pungent.
You leave it up to Charleston White, because he's basically out here saying, fuck them motherfuckers, man. They out here feeding children and shit. They talking about, he got this one part where he said, the boy talking about busting in his crib, banging his girl, shooting his mama. He said, "You gonna and we just gonna accept that?
We just gonna be sitting there chilling, huh?"
No, he just saying, as music, we just gonna accept that. He's shooting the man, honey. That's the word he used too. He gonna bust in the crib. He gonna bang his honey. He gonna kill her. He gonna kill you. And we just gonna let it go. We just gonna deal with that. We just gonna rock with that. He said, and then he said, niggas ain't never been like that. That's that Italian gangster shit. And that's right. what we kind of touched on last week as an intro to this.
Mafia influence.
Yeah, the mafia influence. Man, just run down what? Noriega, Capone. We got all these rappers with these names, It's a real influence, man.
What the Wu said, all them Italian, the Italian Muslims. Was that the Wu said? No, was that the Wu said? No, it wasn't the Wu. Who was that? Wyclef, I think it was.
It's real though, man.
I think it was Wyclef. Who he's like, everybody had these Italian Muslim names. You don't know what the fuck they is.
Yeah. And it goes back to what we were talking about, the vibration, the frequency, If all you listening to, oh, here we go.
Optimize, son.
A lot of people on the internet like to say you're racist, like you don't like black people.
Nigga, black people don't like black people. Who all the rappers talking about killing? How they gonna say I'm racist when I don't never say let's kill niggas? The rap nigga, every song he make is about killing a black person. Who more racist than a rapper? Who more racist than a rapper? They talk about killing black people and raping black women. Nigga, let them holler about kill a white boy, kill a white boy, kill a white boy. Nigga, son in music could kill them quickly. Boy, that nigga talking about killing white folk. So I've never advocated killing black people. I've never advocated shooting up a neighborhood. I love Fujiano, homie, and I listen to his song every day. But he got a verse in there where he says, I gave her a perk and she was so fucked up, I told her to drop her panties. She couldn't even understand me. He said she couldn't even understand me. Come on, homie. Come on, homie. So how am I racist? I ain't never hurt no black motherfucker. Never. I ain't never pimped on no black gal. Never. I ain't never sexually exploited a black woman. Never. Never. How am I racist? When I turn on my rap music and everything them niggas saying is bitch, hoe. Nipsey Hussle say, I'm gonna take the black woman and I'm gonna turn these bitches into lesbians. He made a song about it. So you gonna destroy our race, huh? You gonna turn all the women into lesbians? You niggas want threesomes with all the women. You niggas ain't gonna promote no marriage. Man, you don't hear the married rapping niggas talking about how good they is to their wife. They still bitching hoeing a nigga. Man, you don't, no. They are the enemy. They and their lyrics, not me and my actions. Them and their lyrics are causing way more harm to black America than the things that Charleston White is saying and the ideology that I possess. My work is positive in the community. See, black people is so fucked up, homie. They stuck on what I'm saying. They not actually look at what I'm doing. Google tells you everything I do in real life. The internet shit is for the act so people can pay attention to what's really going on in the community with what I'm doing. I'm a reflection of black community. Sorry, no good rotten motherfucking niggas laying on the internet. When the bitch get off of work, she's still on the internet. He got 4, 5 niggas in the house on that PlayStation 5. The trash ain't been took out.
He started getting a little off subject there.
Yeah. That's real, man. That's real. He really gave it to Gilly too, man. He didn't give it to him in that clip, but he said, fuck that.
Yeah, I saw that.
He gave it to him, man.
So, you know, when we get in talking about this thing as a culture and all of that, man, like I think we really need to reassess our loyalty to certain things. You know what I mean? Regardless of how much nostalgia or how much involvement there is, I think we really need to analyze how we distribute our loyalty and what direction we put it in, especially nowadays. You know, everybody looking to hold on to something, man. You know what I mean? It's like the Titanic is sinking, man, and everybody looking to hold on to something to keep from drowning right now. For some people, it's religion. For some people, it's hip hop. You know what I mean? But we need to question our loyalty. If nothing at all, really need to take a serious look at this thing, man, and be more responsible. With great power comes great responsibility, man. And I just see a lot of destruction, man. You know what I mean? What the old heads was trying to tell us back in the day. You know, a lot of the old heads they loosened up when they heard songs by Public Enemy, and there was a period of time where hip hop seemed like it was starting to promote some sense of balance. You know what I mean? But it was short lived, man. You know what I mean? And now, you'd be hard pressed to name 3 consistent artists that And my thing for me, even though I think artists play a certain responsibility, I'm careful about blaming the artists because at the end of the day, if there weren't people putting money behind this and making money off of it, then this wouldn't be going on. You know what I mean? So this is what people choose to invest in. You know what I'm saying? As far as the money that's put behind it. So
And that's
you
what and
know,
that's what that interview with Lear Cohen was about, man. They asked him normally, and you know the game. They set up them interviews, man. When them people come on like that, they want to have like a script. So they tell them, all right, man, we're gonna ask you these questions, man. You got a problem with it? You might not want to come. Or, you know, this is what we're gonna ask you though. So he had to know what was going to happen in that interview, the types of questions that they was going to ask him. So um, I say that to say that he is the example of the record executive that looks like him.
yeah.
You know, he's not going to take credit. He's not going to take the bad parts of it. He's not interested in that. He couldn't even. He stumbled, stuttered over answering direct questions about the impact that he's having. And they said it straight out to him, man. That's being hypocritical. And he stuttered, stammered. He didn't even answer the question. And then when they asked him about the culture vulture thing, he deflected with, "Well, who is this guy?" So that's an example of the type of record executive. And I was telling Mill the other day when we had like a brief conversation about. I said it all started with Heller. In my opinion, you know, that's who it was kind of known like as a hip hop person who loves hip hop, you know, you read about it and whatnot. We knew that there were problems between NWA and Heller taking all their money and Cube having a problem with it. So he was the first one that I was introduced to that I knew was still in the culture. You know, so
I
that's
mean,
part of course for these guys, man.
for me, man, when I think about it, man, I sometimes question whether it may go back as far as the point where the first dollar was made off of hip hop, man, all the way back to the beginning. I think, I think that I don't think it was ever meant from a capitalist, from a commercial standpoint. I don't think that it was ever really meant to benefit the people. You know what I mean? I think that it was always meant from a commercial standpoint to make a dollar. And the people brought, that revolutionary energy. There was a point where hip hop wasn't about submitting to the commercial world. It was really operating according to a culture associated with the people that wanted to defend it. It was a mentality that seemed to have gotten corrupted more and more as it grew. You know what I mean? As an industry, to the point now when we go back to our forefathers, we got to have conversations about pedophiles. You know what I mean? And yeah, KRS he just released a song Black Black Black. That's dope. But I mean, how do we reconcile the fact that he defends I mean, it's crazy. Like, what do you do with that? As a analytical thinker, as a mature individual, how do you compartmentalize that? You know what I mean?
It's
Um,
hard.
you don't. Yeah, that's it. Like, you don't try to tuck it away. You know what I'm saying? So, does that mean that if I was to look at the song Black 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 objectively, that I can't recognize that it was a dope song? You know what I mean? Yeah, I can do that. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we talking about hip hop as a culture, right? We talking about this thing on the whole, and it doesn't seem like from a commercial standpoint, it's allowed to mature past high school standards.
Got you.
You know what I
That
mean?
was deep right there. That whole the last part just encapsulated everything you just meant. It hasn't matured past high school. We got grown men, mature men in what, their 30s and 40s, rapping about high school shit. Screwing women, robbing people. And then, the Biggie clip, he's talking. I'm not even gonna say that again. It spoke for itself. Who says that? Who does that? If you want to present an image of like total destruction of a people, yeah, you say something like that, right? Yeah,
You
that's
know, that was the mentality of hip hop when I was coming up. That's why when they call it the golden age, I remember coming up at a time where the mentality was like you had to be rapping about being a drug dealer or a killer or something like that. Or, you know what I mean? That was just like they promote a certain image today, they promoted a certain image back then. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that shit was gruesome. Like the boy just finished saying, a lot of that shit was kill a nigga, kill a nigga, kill a nigga, kill a nigga.
yeah, just like that too. That same frequency and vibration, just like that. Yeah, I feel you, man. That's
You know what
that's
I'm
deep.
saying? So, I mean, if we're gonna call it a culture, then it needs guardians. It needs to be guarded properly. Something needs to be said to the fact that right now, to me, it represents something that's sick and perverted, and I just feel like I got enough kahunas to say it, because apparently not a lot of people want to have that conversation.
It's a tough conversation because we seen it as a baby, right?
Hmm.
We saw it as a baby. Now it's full grown and out of order. It's like it's on the pole. You know what I mean? It's on the pole now, man. No father wants to see they child on the pole. That's where we at now, man. Rap is on the pole, man.
Yeah, it's definitely it's worse than that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's worse than that. It's I mean, it's literally, for me, when I observe it, I see it being as used as a tool, a weapon of mass destruction, man. You know what I mean? It's more effective in killing black people than a nuclear bomb. You know what I'm saying? Because it can seep into the cracks of your household. You know what I'm saying? Without no sign of a threat. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way music seems to affect us as a people is different for us, man. Yeah, I mean, I've seen it firsthand. It affects our children different than it do children that's guarded and supported in other areas of aspects of their life. You know what I mean?
Why do you think that is?
I can speak from my personal experience. Um, it was the most beautiful thing that I had to put my hands on. I could reach out to for me. Listening to Ice Cube, listening to NWA, listening to everything. And as crazy as some of that shit was, the other shit that they did around it and with it caught my attention. The music, the sound, the vibration, the culture, the clothes, all that was my primary source of education. School wasn't as interesting as learning about the lives of these different artists. You know what I mean? And loving music just in general, like I said, the music aspect associated with it, glamorize and sensationalize it on a level where it was the most beautiful thing, one of the most beautiful things I could reach out to growing up in a household, you know what I'm saying, where it was, what I mean? I ain't trying to knock my mom, but I grew up in a single parent household, man, and I was the only child. So hip hop was my rainbow. You know what I'm saying? My goal at the end of the rainbow, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
man,
dope.
hip hop, and it wasn't all bad. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't all. A lot of that shit is. That's why I say I think the culture of our people, even if you didn't call it hip hop, it would exist. I would still be listening to somebody rhyming with rhythm, with beats, with music, one way or another. It ain't like this shit is new to us. You know what I'm saying? We will be doing it regardless. So that's where I start to question: do I need to have a certain level of loyalty to it? Yeah, it does come with a certain nostalgia. It's anchor me, ground me, strengthen me, empower me. But I got to be able to differentiate. That's the energy of my people that would exist outside of the contaminations of what we know today is hip hop. That a lot of people want to turn a blind eye to. And I gotta be responsible enough to do that with my music, the same way I do it with my food, the same way I do it with women, the same way I do it with anything that could serve as a potential vice. I gotta be able to separate what it is that I really need from it versus what it is I might, you know what I mean, be getting trapped in, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Man, that's deep. That's deep because I'm gonna be honest as well here. Um I listen to hip hop when I'm working out to get hype. So we were talking about vibration and frequency, right? That same music that I listen to work out to when I'm like washing my truck or something outside, guess what I have on? I have on because you probably would use the same music, right? If you're gonna wash your truck to get hype, and get through that. I put on jazz. So I say that to say that at some point, as we mature, we talked about maturity. I'm a 50-year-old man now. Can I play that music in my neighborhood? Can I blast that like I blast that when I'm working out? Can I do that and feel free that I'm not being judged? These are some of the things that make you question hip hop, like you said. It's as you mature and you grow and you understand what's being well, not force fed, but what's being put out there to consume. You're like, whoa, what did he just say? Or what she just say? Wow. You know what?
Yeah.
And she not even letting her own child listen to it.
Right. That part. That part right there.
You know what I mean? So if she
So
not letting her own child listen to what she's putting out there,
how can she be proud of it?
hey, why should I be exposing my child to it?
It seemed like the mentality is nowadays being a hoe is all fun and games until your daughter is a hoe. And all of a sudden,
It's a problem.
it's a problem.
So for me, you know, I'm a girl dad. You know what I mean? You know what I
Kobe.
mean? And I'm a girl dad of a young lady. So to see that where the paradigm has shifted to, man, it's just like, and not just from the female rappers, the male rappers as well, man. Like it's just such a denigration towards women that is crazy, man. Like it's like you don't got nothing good to say about no woman. That bothers me as a girl dad, man. You know what I'm saying?
Something to be concerned about.
Yeah, because I know like y'all sitting here, y'all kicking it, man. Y'all kicking it heavy, man. I appreciate that. I understand that the power of influence that hip hop has always had. I mean, I'm gonna shift gears just a little bit. Feek, we're from the onslaught era of hip hop, man. So I remember when it wasn't no bad hip hop. There weren't any bad messages in the music at all. Not even the hard street joint. You go back to Melly Mel and White Lines and stuff like that, man. Yeah, it was a harsh reality given up in verbal excellence. Having said that, he wasn't telling you to go get high. You know what I mean? He was telling you stay away from that shit. We and again, we the same age, man. We're in our 50s, so we've been through the hardcore b-boy street phase of it, man. We've been through the party phase. We've been through the educational phase. We've been through the Black Power phase. You know what I mean? We've been through the murder phase, the drug dealer phase. You know what I mean? And this phase we currently in now, man, it's like I don't even know what to call it.
You got a little mix of everything. It's like a jambalaya, man. It's a little mix
Yeah,
of everything in there now.
because I don't hear no consciousness, man. Like I mean, in the most of
Well,
I'm not saying it's not no conscious artists out there.
like sprinkles of consciousness in there.
It's a very, very,
Sprinkle,
very lightly sprinkled.
you know.
Like if you're a conscious rapper, man, it can only be one. Everybody else got to be on some bullshit. You know what I mean? And man, that's kind of crazy, man. No, for me, hip hop is a whole. It's a whole. It's a whole entity within itself, man. Like where the dancing at with hip hop now. I mean, we had this, man. We had break dancers, man. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? We had poppers and
That's
lockers,
where it's
man.
at now, though. It's overseas. I was looking at something.
There you go.
Looking at something online about it, man. Like over in Japan and in different areas, they break dancing now. You know, they doing
Actually,
all the culture stuff that was started here.
exactly. I want to say two things about that. Excuse me, man, for interrupting you.
No, it's all good. I finished my thought.
Yeah, the first thing I want to say about that is, I heard they actually there's talk, or it may be a fact that they're trying to get breakdancing into the Olympics now as an Olympic event. So,
Exporting culture, bro.
so you mean to tell me, my brother, who people don't know, my brother to me, you know what I'm saying, and to a lot of other people, man, is one of the pioneers of hip hop for me, man. On the pop and lock and breakdance side of things, man. You know what I'm saying? He introduced me to really introduced me to the culture of hip hop, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's ironic, like some 35 years later, now what he was doing for fun and at a high level of mastery, this nigga
High
could have
level.
this nigga could have been a gold medalist.
High level.
You understand what I'm saying? And for those heads out there from Philly who don't know, man, my brother is Spoonie E. You know what I'm saying? If you know anything about, breakdancing and hip hop dancing back in the 80s, man, he was the guy. You know what I mean?
Yes, he was,
I'm gonna
man.
give him his props. He was
That
the
dude
fucking
was a
guy.
rock star, man.
That nigga was like AI in the city. Like I ain't gonna even hold you. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
he was a rock star, man.
So like that whole element is non-existent anymore. You know what I mean? Like my brother should really be on somebody's Philly hip hop documentary, cause real
Yeah.
rap. You know what I'm saying?
Especially out
Real
of
rap.
Philly. Yeah, if you do anything about dancing in Philly, he got to be in there.
He got to be in it. He got to be in it, man.
Yeah.
And like that was such a huge part of the culture, man. It actually promoted the culture. Like it made it big. You know what I mean? You had your rappers, you had your DJs. You know what I mean? But when they started having the dancers and the dance battles and all, that took it to a whole nother level, bro. You know what I'm
Yeah, they
saying?
used to have shows, man. That's
Exactly. Exactly, man. Countless times, man, dudes ran up to me thinking I was that dude, man, on the street, man.
hey, well, y'all favor. Probably not so much now, but but yeah.
Back then, yeah, I agree. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
y'all
saying? But
favor.
certain key elements like that are just I don't see them in the game no more, man. And that's such a huge part of the game. How do you just omit that? You know what I mean? The other thing is, man, like where did it just turn to bullshit? Like what happened that just made it turn to bullshit? And it make me think about that clip you just showed me, man. The dude said he's gonna take talent over everything else. What he sees as talent. But who are you
Well,
to determine?
I'm gonna be a little hard on the West Coast. I'm gonna be a little hard on the West Coast. Um, I saw a shift in it when NWA,
NWA?
man. that's a shift because remember, well, actually, Two Live Crew as well. Two Live Crew, they started with the nasty shit. You know, they started with the objectifying of women. You know, so I remember that. Listen, we like I said, we in our 50s, so we remember all of it when Two Live first started. And
Luke had a lot of ass on the screen.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Luke
So
put a lot of ass on the screen.
they and if you looked at anything that Luke did, and he kind of talks, you know, he talks about it. He was one of the first ones putting on whole shows where he was bringing women from the strip clubs. So he's bringing women from the strip clubs as part of his show, and you know that changed it a little bit. And then you switch it to the NWA. They were like the first ones who really started railing on society, like especially from like a social standpoint. They railing on society, and if you listen to their music, they had a little, they had a lot of the objectification of women as well. So
I think the devaluing and the manipulation of black music has existed since the music industry has been in effect. I think where hip hop was something that was new to the world, and so it took certain corruptions to catch up. It took a period of time for certain corruptions to really catch up. It came out the box strong, you know what I mean? But in terms of corruptions in the music industry that I see now that seem to dominate what we consider to be hip hop culture in many ways, those corruptions play out all throughout history. You know, the bleeding of black souls, not paying artists their worth, manipulating artists, you know, and creating a design as far as their behaviors and how they operate based on playing with their money or foolish contracts or whatever the case may be. This has existed all throughout black music, like for black music more than anything. You know what I'm saying? Like in other genres of music, it may go on, but not nowhere near like you see. There's nobody exploited in the music industry like black people, even by other black people. You know what I'm saying?
But it's kind of like the game, ain't it?
Yeah.
Get over. The whole rap game is about getting over. You know, for me, I take that right, and I can't remember who I was just talking to about this. It might have been you, Feet, but it's that same blueprint, man, that they just keep repeating in different genres of society. You know what I mean? But it all equal out to the same thing, man. Black people getting used, abused, pimped. You know what I mean, and cast to the side when they're of no use to the monetizers. You know what I mean? So I kind of get the why. I kind of get that. You know why it's so easy. You know, I don't got it. What I don't get is why it remains to be so damn easy.
well, we've talked about it. Controlling our communities, man. If you have that mindset, you won't let nobody come in and take yours.
And that's what happened to breakdancing, DJing, graffiti. You know, as hip hop started turning into a quote unquote culture and it became commercialized, rap stood out at the forefront of all of those things as far as making money was concerned. And so artists that did other things like breakdance, it was hard to commercialize. It was hard to make a living off of that. You know what I mean? If you do the knowledge on the history of hip hop, man, a lot of those original artists, man, fell into the gutter, man. Drug addiction,
Hey,
all
speaking of
kind of.
breakdancers, man, I just seen the crazy John on Crazy Legs, man. He just admitted that he's a sexual deviant.
Yeah, I was
Been
gonna
a
mention
sexual
that.
deviant, man. You know what I
I was
mean?
gonna mention that. You know
Yeah,
what I
that,
mean?
that was kind of crazy to me, man. He's going after
Crazy.
little girls, exposing
Yeah,
himself and all that old kind of stuff, man. I was like,
yeah.
damn, man, who would ever thought that, you know? Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yep. He just got called out for the same shit.
Who?
I said he just got called out for the same shit. Crazy Legs, mess
Yeah,
around with underage girls.
that's what I was talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, he had I mean, he actually fessed up to it, man. He said he had problems.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
like, dang, that's crazy.
But that don't mean the people that he messed up is saved though.
It don't mean the people he messed up or what?
Saved. You know, he admitted it, but think about the people left behind and you know,
Carnage.
the
so
carnage.
I know it's a lot to ask, but I think we really need to reevaluate our, this thing called hip hop and our loyalty towards it. You
It's
know
a
what I
hell of
mean?
an ass, to be honest.
Well, if
It's
we're
a
gonna,
hell of an
if you,
ass from the standpoint of we own. Well, I was about to say we own it. We don't, but we birthed it. That's like the black sheep in your family. He's still your family. So yeah, with all the problems that the black sheep had, there's still a remembrance of the time when that black sheep was pure. You know,
I mean,
without
you
those
know,
problems.
we birthed poetry, we birthed music, sound, we birthed fashion, we birthed language. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop, you know, we birthed the elements of it. You know what I mean? The design itself, you know, can we really, how much credit, you know what I mean, industry birthed it? Like from one of the first hip hop songs, hip hop to the hippity hip to the hippity hop. The whole
but
shit
that's
came about from an industry exec grabbing some young boy in the pizza store who stole somebody else's verse. The whole shit is built on a lie.
big up the Grandmaster Cass.
This whole shit is built on a deception. It
Yeah,
don't
big.
take away from the great poets and the greatness that our people contribute to it. But if you asking me to stand under it in the form of a flag or a banner or something that represents me holistically, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, those elements are gonna exist regardless. When you know what I mean? This thing called hip hop is something that we got to take into consideration how much it is shit we really represents our design as
You
a
know,
people.
I'm glad you differentiated, man. I'm glad you framed your answer like that, man. From a, we're gonna embrace it from a holistic standpoint. You know what I mean? That gives me a little more clarity on what you were saying. Because I was going to be in somewhat, a little bit disagreement with not the principles of what you're saying, the core of what you're saying, but I don't want to marginalize hip hop either by sticking it in one genre because it's so deep. You know what I'm saying? It's such a deep, deep, deep and thing. And when we call it, we speaking from a cultural aspect, man. I can't just relegate it to just this type of hip hop. Well, I want to disagree with you about, Sugar Hill Gang is that to me that's never been. I never considered that to be a hip hop song. I
What?
considered that to be a rap song.
What?
Yeah, I never considered that to be a hip hop song.
That's apples and oranges because
No, it's not. No, it's not.
nobody was calling the hip hop back then. But I mean, you got to take into consideration the influence that it has had on hip hop culture. You can't watch a hip hop documentary without that song coming up.
Well, that's because of who's in control of the documentaries, and I feel you on that. To me, that's not in my hip hop documentary. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's not part of. That was the first theft. That was the first public theft of hip hop. Sugar Hill Gang.
I
That was
don't know.
Grandmaster Cash lyrics.
I don't know how you say that though, man.
What you mean?
Because like L9 said, man, you look all you gotta do is do a Google search on hip hop history. That's like in the second paragraph.
No, I get what you're saying. I get that part of it. That's why I said to me personally, it wouldn't be in my hip hop documentary because I understand what happened there. You understand what I'm saying? Them dudes wasn't even rappers, man. You know what I'm saying? They was a group of dudes that was put together. As the story goes, what Big Bad Hank was a bodyguard or
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is a
some shit like
ragtag
that,
crew, but I
and
mean, it's the it goes to what Elanaj was saying though, in terms of like
I mean,
from my perspective is the that was a
it was
threw
a
them guys
monumentous,
together, but
happening in the shaping of what hip hop is today, what rap is today. I'm gonna say, you know what I'm saying? But there wasn't no DJs up there with them. There wasn't no b boys with them. There wasn't no graffiti artists with them. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't part of the culture, man. They were just some vultures. You know what I'm saying? Who seized an opportunity.
so that's one of the let's go ahead and say this then. Speaking of El Naj's point, was that was the first culture vulture instance of hip
That I
hop.
remember. That I remember.
That's what we saying.
That I remember.
Because if you look at them, they don't look like they hung together. You know what I mean?
Nah, they wasn't. They
They
wasn't.
weren't partners or nothing, right?
No.
So are we saying that some Jerry Heller type executive?
Actually, it was a white woman, I believe, wasn't it?
No, I think she was black. Sylvia
She was
Robinson,
black.
something like
She
that.
was black. I apologize. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So from my standpoint, from my vantage point, I'm going to attribute the very first theft of hip hop to a sister and three brothers.
But see, this is the thing. Symbolically, that's what hip hop is today. Everything that you just described about the Sugar Hill Gang situation, about why you
I'm
don't
hip,
consider
but
hip
that's
hop,
what rap is today.
is
That's not hip
exactly
hop,
what it
bro.
is today.
That's not hip hop, bro. That's rap.
There's a separation, though. I mean,
rap and hip hop.
Apples and oranges, man. Apples and oranges, yo. Tomato, yo. At the end of the day, when you're dealing with the minds of the youth, it's all the same shit.
If that's
I
where
don't
we
see
going with it, right? I got you. I was coming from my own position. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a you taking like a
a purist.
A purist, yeah,
purist position to the game. Because it's so much to me, man. It's so much to hip hop. I can't say that it's shaped off of rap music. It's a component in hip hop, but I can't say that's the main component.
It goes back to what I was saying in the beginning, is layers. So now we peeling back a different layer now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where we start understanding that from our perspective, hip hop is more than just the music.
Exactly.
We use it as a term. We use it as a term to frame other things in according to our way of life.
So,
and that's where the conversation really starts to get tricky if you don't understand that these are layers.
Right.
There's not
right.
one point against the other. It's just that there's so many layers to this thing and how we define this thing called hip hop. It's essentially, like I said, erase the term hip hop and we still will be saying the same shit. Like we still will be talking about our poetry skills, our language, our cultural, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of that, man, I heard speaking of hip hop, man, and what you just said, the linguistics of it, so forth and so on. Marvin Gaye has a song called "Ego Tripping." You know what I mean? And he's actually like spitting on the song, man. He rapping. He ain't singing. He's rapping. And this is very early Marvin Gaye. You know what I mean? So like, probably I ain't gonna say very early. Probably about late '60s, '70s, or maybe early '70s Marvin. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you're right. If it wasn't housed in the rap format, so to speak, the rap genre format, then yeah, we would still be having these same conversations.
Right. Another layer of hip hop is the fact that when you go back to the early stages, it was all based on music that came before it.
Exactly.
Yeah, samples.
Funk, jazz, R&B, soul. We ain't just talking. When we say samples, we ain't just talking about minor blues, right? We're talking about major components.
Yes.
Contributed. What we
gotcha.
call hip hop today. So we talking about a whole mutation of music, of sound, of culture, of vibration.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To me,
Yeah,
it really.
I
One of
think I
Go
think
ahead.
I
Go ahead.
just understood completely what Nas was saying with his album Hip Hop Is Dead.
Oh,
Everybody,
based off our conversation.
yeah, everybody. Most people I talked to about that, man, they just kind of took it like rappers were whack now, as if that was the only aspect of hip hop. You know what I mean? But I think he was looking at it more from a cultural shift or slide, even.
Yeah, if you
That
sit back and read the tea leaves, yeah, you can see the appropriation of it. Like I said in the early 2000s, when I went to go see the Roots, I'm standing in line. I'm looking around.
you only one.
It was a small speckle of black people in there. You know what I mean?
And that's been norm. That's the norm. That's been normalized. It was even preached when I was coming up. Like, yo, most people who buy music are between such and such ages, and they white people. Like, you go to all the concerts. When you think about where it really began, whether it was in the parks in New York, whether it was on the street, whether it was your uncle just talking his shit, blah, 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 bang. You know what I mean? Whether it was, the musicians around you, the culture has always been present, man. It's always been present.
Yeah.
So you saying we kind of devoided the cultural aspect of it? Is that what you're saying?
I think by way, like I said, that's why I try to compare it to Christianity. Sometimes we get so caught up in the loyalty towards the organization of it all that we miss the important subtleties. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes Christians get so caught up in being Christian that they forget the importance of being Christ-like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
I think we going not single anybody out. Let's just say religious folks, because I think they all had the same principles and qualities. You know what I mean? But I understand. I understand what you're saying. I'm not trying to censor you. You know what I mean? I just want to be a little bit more universal with our employment of that. But once you become, totally engrossed in whatever school or whatever ideology, it's like there's no room for anything but that ideology. You know what I'm saying? And anything contradictory to that ideology is viewed as incorrect or wrong,
It's
or
almost
just
like a
not
competition.
or not feasible. Yeah.
It's like a competition for who rules the mind.
Ooh, that's heavy right there, Fig. I think you better treat it
No,
to
I'm
that
just
one
saying.
again.
I mean,
That's heavy, bro. That's heavy. But yeah, Dred, I feel
when it
you.
came out my mouth, I didn't think it was that heavy until you just said it. But
That's
that's
how,
the only thing I could think of, man. It's a competition for rulers, man.
who's
Think
ruling
about
your
it,
mind.
man.
Ooh, that's heavy. Is that what it really is? I
Who
think
rules the mind, man?
I think it is. I think that
Yeah.
perfect. But Dred, not to take away from your point, man, with the Christianity thing, man. The way that it was propagated, man, and like you said, you get so caught up into what you're told to do or the way you're told to do it that you forget to be chasing or pursuing what you profess to be pursuing. You forget to be Christ-like. You forget to stop striving to be Christ-like because Christ is not he's not the goal anymore. You know what I mean? It's how good of a actor you can be. So I totally understand what you're saying, brother.
Yeah, y'all
You know
can
what I
get me
mean?
talking about religion. I ain't gonna talk about it, man.
No, we not. Yeah, it kind of. I was
'Cause
trying to.
I can go on that too.
Yeah, I was trying to stay away from that. I want to keep it hip hop. You know what I mean?
so, with the music, with hip hop music, the pinnacle of success is financial wealth. You know what I mean?
But that's
And
again. That's not how it started.
nah,
That's
well,
not one of the pillars
It's
of it,
never
man.
about that. It was about the art.
Right. That's not one of the pillars of hip hop is to make money. That's not
well,
a pillar of hip hop.
again, now we talking about another layer because where did it start? Did it start with the culture of the people, or did it start when it was starting to be called hip hop as a coined term as an industry? If you talking about where it started as a coined term as an industry, it's always been about manipulating the people. You talking about you taking it as far back to the original source, which is the people.
But that's
Yeah,
why that's where it resonates for me.
right, right, right,
And
right.
I'm being selfish with it. You know what I'm saying? Because like I just block out all that other bullshit You know what I mean? I don't consider that to be part of the culture. It's a
Right.
byproduct of the culture, but I don't consider it to be part of the culture. The only reason why I would say it's a byproduct of the culture is because, like you said before, it was so it made the people gravitate towards it so much from a point of just relation. Like you can relate to what these cats were saying, man. You can relate to the music. You know what I
Right.
mean? You can
So
relate to the dance moves, man. You can relate to the graffiti on the wall. You know what I mean?
right.
That shit was relatable. You know what I mean? But somewhere in there, again, the people in the high tower or the overseers or the oppressors, whatever you want to call them, they was like, hey, this is cool and we can sell this. You know what I mean? And then that became the rap culture. See, for me, it's a separation. You got hip hop and you got rap. You know what I mean? Everybody that's rap is not a hip hopper.
I want to address a couple things you just said. Somebody had to introduce. I mean, in back in those days, anyway. Now, Elanaj's point is that he thinks there's always been someone manipulating to get the money out of hip hop and the culture. I'm taking it all the way back to the beginning. There had to be an introduction into that, though. So, to Elanaj's point, I think part of that is the greed in our community as well. Somebody had to introduce some of these culture vultures into the culture. So I believe at some point, there's some self destruction in there as well. We talked about it a little bit with the what was that movie again with the hip hop Dalmatians? That was a black producer who started off with that hip hop Dalmatian stuff. So again, it goes back to controlling our own community and the product and talent that comes out of our own communities. I think it's a product of America as well. We've been subjected for so many. It's just so long, man. I mean, it's a topic that is painful. All this subjugation and all these things that we're talking about. It's tough because you can see it now that we're talking about it. You can see it in hip hop, especially when you play back them lyrics, Biggie lyrics. That's
You got to also take into consideration when hip hop first really began to spawn as a commercial culture. There was an element coming into the game of it being anti-establishment.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Of course, it didn't take long. It changed, and one of the things that always seems to come back up in our conversations is crack in the crack era. Cocaine and crack influenced the birth, the fundamental stages of what we know as hip hop in such a heavy way. You know what I mean? Club culture is a major influence because that's where the money is passing hands. So even till the day, that's why I think that's a big part of what plays into the sound of the music. Is hits get played in clubs and on the radio, but mainly clubs is where if your shit is popping in the clubs, you're gonna make some money. So you know what I mean? All these elements, but the biggest of all of that, man, is crack, cocaine. That's what really had shit popping in the clubs in the 80s, you know what I mean? During the fundamental stages of hip hop. So that played a major role. I still don't even think that hip hop music has recovered from the crack era. You know what I mean? To me, it's slightly embarrassing actually being a part of a culture that that foolishly plays on people's gullible nature and can get away with talking about glorifying, you know, certain shit on levels that don't deserve to be glorified on. I mean, I respect the fact that we all got a story to tell, but after a certain point, shit becomes buffoonery. You know what I mean? It becomes a silly game. You know what I mean? Listening to how many more songs about crack being the shit when crack wasn't the shit? How many songs about crack being the shit that I gotta listen to? You know what I mean? And a lot of my favorite artists are responsible for fee. I mean, we talked about that with Nas, even though I respect the fact that I think Nas came full circle with it, but you know, I mean, it was just a point in hip hop where it was like, that was another phase we went through where everybody was talking about crack, keys on the scale, I'm telling this, da, da, da. Yo, fuck, like, you know what I'm saying? What nothing nice. You go watch this documentary. I just watched this documentary on Netflix called Crack. You know what I mean? One of the first documentaries that I watched that really was like, yeah, okay, they touched on a few things in this joint. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the crack era was hell, man. You know what I mean? And we still got goddamn nursery rhymes that glorifying the crack era. And now you got today's version of hip hop is children of the post crack wars. You know what I'm saying? That was the wars against our community. So they still vibing off the wildness, man. And a lot of them got that shit flowing through their veins from the time they was born. You know what I mean? Children of crack addicts. You know what I'm saying? But we still dealing with that mentality, that energy being inherited. You know what I mean? That energy of violence, that energy of drug abuse. So much so now that being a junkie is cool, being a drug addict is cool. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I said it's a big act to take accountability, but it's really a big act to ask me not to. You know what I mean? It's a big act to keep hearing all these different reasons as to why I should turn a blind eye to a so-called culture that's no different than drinking the Kool-Aid that Jim Jones passed to his people. You know what I mean? The shit is sweet and it stirs quenching on a hot summer day. But by the time that shit reach my belly, the belly of my community, you know what I'm saying, it comes with a bunch of decay and destruction. You know what I mean?
That's a hell of an analogy right there. I like it.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
we really don't give enough what's the word, credence to the destruction of our communities.
You still got children you still got youth. I don't want to just say children, but you got youth and grown people now because, you know, much different from when I was growing up. If you was in your 30s and 40s, you might know what rap was, but you wasn't like teenagers was. It was a differentiation. Now you got the 30-year-olds and the 40-year-olds and listening to the same shit that the 13-year-olds listening to. And they can quote that shit from front to back, but can't tell you nothing about real estate. Like I said, you got some kids that I seen, they can quote a whole uh, rap song and can't even spell their name correctly. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that's how it is. We are as a culture, as a hip hop culture. You know what I mean? If we're gonna call this thing a culture, if you got a nostalgia attached to it, if it did help you feed your family, we gotta take accountability for it. You got people out here that are literally a whole culture of people out here that are socially illiterate, but they know how to keep up with the latest uh, urban music, dances, TikTok videos, and all that other shit. You know what I mean? But literate on other levels in their life. You know what I'm saying? And then you got a situation where our music and our culture is so powerful that it influences everything, everywhere. Commercials, the news, everybody use elements from our culture, man. Even when it's in its most devalued state, they still draining it. So, you know, we gonna call this thing a culture and act like we're gonna put some loyalty into it. Fuck all that unless we're gonna take some type of accountability for how it's being weaponized against us, man. This shit is sickening.
How we
Right.
pull that
So,
back though?
say it again, Feek.
How do we pull that back though and start
Great question.
that process of cleaning it up?
Well, you know, I spend a lot of time thinking about that and I haven't come up I won't say I haven't come up with an answer yet. It's just the answer that I came up with. You know, I'm trying to figure out how to translate it into a more practical sense. The only thing I can think of is chop off some heads, and I don't know. You know, I don't know how practical that is in reality. I'm just
Well,
talking about my mind.
well, we're talking about literally chopping off heads.
I'm
Or we're
just
talking about
talking. I'm talking about my mindset. Like when I'm in my own personal space.
Look at Bill being a
When I ask myself,
politician.
I mean, I just want to know where we're going with this, brother.
but
I ride hard for the cause. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to figure out exactly where we're headed at.
I'm
looking at the way you said that. You said, "Are we really talking about?"
Oh, I mean, listen, hey, bro, listen.
Got on the camera and everything.
Listen, bro, listen. There are definitely some heads that need the rule. Let's be clear about that. There are definitely some heads that need the rule. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying I want to be the hatchet man, but I mean, a couple of them I might.
So my alternative to that, my alternative to chopping off heads is to do my best as an individual to lead by example to the best of my ability, and trust in how vibration and collective consciousness works. I feel like if I introduce positivity or I don't even want to say positivity, but balance, if I introduce balance into the world, harmony into the music, truth into the music, and somehow on a collective conscious level, I'm increasing that potential in the world, in the universe, so to speak.
Well, I mean, that's dope. Saying as though every living thing is attached to every living thing by cords. Yeah. So you pluck the strings, right? Everybody has to react to it.
And I've seen, just to be honest, I've seen the results of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like even with you, I think it was in our last conversation where you was complimenting me, as far as the music and lyricism and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I get from time to time, I get to see that reverberation, so to speak. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So it makes sense on a practical level.
So I think one way, it can be attacked is by control. You know what I mean? If we can get back to the point where we're controlling what's being put out there, you know what I'm saying? That'd be great. But then there has to be some kind of hip hop police out this motherfucker too, though. Like you know what I mean? you know, stop that bullshit before it start, man. Before that shit get catchy, man.
Well, that's the way it was back in the
exactly
old days, man. They pull you back, man. You ain't good enough, man.
right. Master Ace in the symphony, his verse in the symphony, man, is one of my favorite verses I ever heard, man. You know
Well,
what I mean?
see, this is another layer to this conversation. Another layer to this conversation is censorship. Because as an artist, I'm like this. As an artist, I'm like this. I feel like everybody got a story to tell, and sometimes that story ain't always a pretty story, or sometimes that story ain't always said the way somebody might want to hear it. You know what I mean? Every artist has a story to tell. I think more so like what bothers me is that the way the industry takes certain aspects of who we are as a people, like sex, drugs, violence, and like magnify that and blow that up to a degree where it seems like that's all that we are. And then life starts to imitate that. And then you start seeing that, influence our everyday
Yeah,
life.
when life imitates art, I get
You know
that.
what I mean?
That's a complex place to be when life imitates art. Um, damn,
Yeah, that's deep.
yeah. Again, but and this just threw my whole train of thought. But now I'm thinking about that.
I still think I still think we if we go back 60 years, I say that I've said this in several conversations, not just here on the show as well, and I've said it before here as well. we're very young with freedom. 65 was the Civil Rights Act.
Right.
That's when, believe it or not, this is gonna sound absolutely insane, but that's when your humanity was licensed.
Mm-hmm.
So where we at now? 65, we what 2020. So if you just do the math, what 55 years, 65 years, well, I don't know.
55.
55 years of licensed humanity. So think about all the times in the past. So we're still products of all that dysfunction. So this art form that we created in the what if we do the math, 65 licensed humanity, hip hop 80 was when Sugar Hill, hit the scene. But even before then, you had it in the parks and stuff. So we're talking about what 78. So just simple math just tells me that
Still a baby.
dysfunction
Probably.
is always been a part of what we are just because of what has happened to us here. So
Those are our plight. Right.
you got people talking about it, and like you said, this society here as a whole has profited off of our struggle, our dysfunction,
Our plight. Right.
our plight. So um I think that's where we're at with it. Really, we got to take control of it. Elanaj, you're absolutely right. It's out of control. We talking about pedophiles now.
Don't get that bull started with that, please, man.
No, I'm not going. It's a hell of a. I'm just saying.
I can't.
It's a element of what it's on the songs.
Yeah, that's why I'm going with it, man. You know what I'm sitting here thinking now, man. And I remember what I wanted to say to you.
It's on the
Like
songs.
we need some kind of committee, man. You know what I mean? Hip hop needs some kind of committee, some kind of hierarchy that can say yay or nay. You know what I'm saying? And in terms of restoring, hip hop, the hip hop that I know, I refuse to call what's going on today hip hop. You know what I mean? I refuse to call it that, man. I'm not going to disrespect the culture that I know by calling what's going on today hip hop. I'm just gonna call it some bullshit because that's what it is. But to your point, Feek, I'm sitting there thinking about pedophilia and I'm thinking about Bambada. You know what I mean? Then I'm thinking about Biggie's lyrics and like, how impactful is that link right there? You know what I mean? Right in front of your face.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say Africa Bambada was the inspiration for Biggie lyrics, but when you think about it, man, you had one of the pillars, one of the founding fathers, man, who was very deviant in his sexual desires and abuse of young boys. You know what I mean? Then 25 years past that, you got Biggie on the song talking about, man, don't you know my nigga? That's the part that always stood out to me. Don't you know my nigga gutter? Fucking kidnap kids, fuck them in the ass and throw them over the bridge. And I'm like, that's your nigga? That's your dude? That's your guy? He does that and that's your guy? None of my guys do stuff like that. You can't be one of my guys and do that. You know what I mean? So the mindset got me kind of traveling now, man. And I know it's probably sound way out there, the connections I'm trying to make, but I see your point. I see your point, man, as far as the influence.
especially because we introduced the connection that El Nas made with frequency and vibration is just it's ridiculously important if you just think about it.
Yeah.
We all that's how we communicate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the other thing I think is like, some of them core elements, man, need to be mandated by, who can mandate them now. You know what I mean? As far as the gang, like, get all these skirt wearing, drug addict, derelict,
Where that came, you know
Stay
Tupac.
high.
You know Tupac. I saw a clip a while back. He forecasted it, man.
So did the RZA.
He forecasted the feminization of hip hop.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they came to him with it. I'm almost positive they pitched that to him,
Yeah,
and they
he
thought he might have been wild enough. Very great blessings with a clip, but I thought he might have been wild enough. I mean, I thought that they think he might have been wild enough and impressionable enough to just go with it. But Pac had was
now that you're saying it, I can see that because they yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, but they was what they did was they underplayed his tutelage, man. They underplayed his upbringing. You know what I mean? They underplayed that, man.
He forecasted, man.
Yeah. Well, that's the only way it could go. And to your point about the whole denigration of the black image in terms of hip hop, I put that right in line with what they do with society. Period, man. You know, in order for them to stay on their perch, you know, somebody gotta represent the shit. Somebody has to represent the bowels of society that you don't want to be a part of. And they never got over the Emancipation Proclamation. Speaking of 65, you know what I'm saying?
But what's different?
1865,
What's different about that though? What's different
nothing,
about what they're doing and that
nothing.
as opposed? Yeah, exactly.
It's the
It's par
same,
course.
the same blueprint. You know what I mean? But now, to your other point, man. Now we're in a position now where we can control it. You know what I mean? We can control that as a people. I'm saying, not you and I and him, but you know, they got people out here, man. Black people out here in America, man, that have major wealth that can really just take over that whole joint, and then we can mandate, you know, what needs to be mandated, man. You know, without the influence of white America. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing I see. Let me say this, Feek, real quick. That's the one thing that I
I wasn't
see
gonna say nothing. I was
as
just
black people. Like, what do we have here that we can say that's 100% ours as a people? Can't be religion. It ain't music. You know what I mean? What is it? What if we say that, you know, this is our shit?
owned.
Yes.
The numbers don't support nothing,
Right. What Dr. Claude Anderson said, you know,
man.
during slavery, black America owned about 1% of America. Post slavery up to current day, black America owns about 1% of America. So
He
nothing's
said it.
changed. All
He
these
said
leaps
it. The
and
numbers
bounds.
supported him too.
Right. All these leaps and bounds that people tell us that we make, man. Like, I seen I seen some funny shit. This ain't got nothing to do with our conversation. Girl came to my job, man, and she showed me a video of her family member crying because while Kamala Harris was being sworn into office.
See, now you're gonna get into that.
I'm just saying to the mindset, man. Like, you
Now
know,
you're gonna get into that.
no, I'm just
I,
saying to
I
the
knew
mindset, man.
I knew we wasn't gonna make it through this night without that coming up.
Come on, man. This is the second most momentous thing that ever happened to black people, man, in America.
I'm not touching that, man.
First one was Barry Big Ears going in
I'm gonna
office.
say this. I'm gonna say this, man. If you listen to any of Malcolm's speeches, he touches on exactly the importance of the black
Ain't
politics.
that something, man? It's already been laid out for us.
He already touched on the black
It
politics.
already been laid out for us, man.
If you and I've listened to the ballot or the bullet about 5 times,
Man. Yes. Yes.
and it's something I can go back to and listen to, and I will, because he tells you about politics and he tells you about the black politicians.
Check how this ties into the devaluing of our music. You know, at one time, like in the '70s, man, artists was making songs about Vietnam, politics, and politicians, and that totally affected the wave as far as how people responded to Vietnam and politicians and different things that was going on. You got a whole generation of people now growing up on Lil Wayne and Kodak Black and the political choices and the political and the gullible nature of the political choices is represented according to the level of intellect shown in the music. You know what I'm saying? Like the power of music is that, if artists really was really going in some of the truths that are going on in our reality with these politicians, it would profoundly affect the consciousness of the people. Because instead you got generations of people growing up on shit that's less inspiring, less dignifying, and less educational, for lack of a better term. The politics represent that, man. It's like people are acting extremely gullible. Like I said, right now for me, it's a very embarrassing thing to watch in terms of how so-called black people are acting. I'm in a fortunate position where I have a wider perspective of what it means to be black, and I mean, but
Nicely
just on
put.
but on a surf on a surface level, it's quite humiliating and disgusting.
Denigrating.
Yeah,
Denigrating. Did you use that word earlier?
yeah,
Yeah, that's what it
all of
is.
that, all of
That's
that.
what it is. Denigrating.
All of that. So I try to, I mean, obviously, if you playing around on social media or scrolling whatever, it's I mean, you gonna engage, but I have moments where I try to take a step back and just let it be what it's gonna be. I feel like overall that's my position, is just letting this chaos do what it's going to do, and just what I mean. I find myself engaging here and there, touch and go. You know what I mean? But for the most part, it's like shit is so ridiculous right now that sometimes the safest space is to just kind of step back and just let these people be as insane as they need to be, because that's
That's what
that's
I've
how I
done with
see it.
social media. That's
Stay
That's
out
how
of
I
white
see it.
people business, man.
that's exactly what I've done. I see my mill still agitating on social media.
I
No.
mean,
It wasn't even a shot at that, man. To be
No,
honest with
I'm not even. I'm just saying, like I've pulled back,
you, I've
just
been chilling, man.
in
Y'all
line
see
with
my
what
post? I've been
Naj is
chilling.
saying, and I've
I ain't
been
post.
watching.
I ain't
I've been
post
watching
nothing.
as well. It's a lot of celebration, and it's a lot of jokes, but it masks exactly what I think we kind of had in our discussion tonight.
Well, that's the link I was trying
A
to make.
lot of pain.
That's the bridge I was trying to make.
Okay, I'm gonna shut
Ironically,
up
yeah,
now.
that
Go
was the
ahead,
bridge
bro.
I was trying to make. So thank you for the help.
Good.
Guess I can't say nothing about Kamala. My bad.
I ain't saying nothing about it because we're gonna be on that
That bitch, man.
forever.
Fuck that bitch.
We're gonna change the whole tenor of
So I'm
this.
gonna say one more thing about it. Did y'all see that mosaic that somebody made?
yeah, I shared that.
That was crazy. That was
Yeah,
really
see,
crazy.
that's what I'm saying. Like I had this conversation during the election periods. Like,
I'm done with it.
I,
I'm done with it as well.
it's hard to be done with it because it's gonna come up. You know
It's
what I mean?
redundant.
Right,
Yeah,
it's gonna come up, but
it's
it's
redundant
just
and moot
so.
to me.
Yeah, it's like, come on, what else can I really say? Like the people that's touching their pearls and wearing their Converses right now, I ain't gonna change their mind. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not trying to.
so yeah.
I'm not trying to. But
But I mean,
having
at the end
Just
said
of the
that,
day,
refer.
if I feel like I want to say something, I'm not gonna feel like I have to be censored either.
well, nah,
No,
if I
no.
if
I'm
I
gonna
need
say
to
whatever
speak,
the
I'm gonna
fuck I
say
want to
yeah,
say. Whether
yeah.
I
Yeah, I
It's
like
not
it,
was
just
like,
don't
referring
like it.
to Malcolm X's Ballad of the Bullet. Hey, check it.
and what it come down to is this, man. Like at the end of the day, they both responsible for locking up so many black people, man. That's where I draw the line in the sand. With any politician, if you
Politicians, period.
if your claim to fame is locking up niggas,
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not getting behind that. I'm a nigga, and I'm not getting behind that. I'm your prey. You understand what I'm
if you
saying?
done broke up more black families than you've repaired or whatever contributed to in a healthy way, you know what I mean? If your track
But
record
wait,
is the destruction of black families,
that's that's your coup de grace.
yeah, especially at a time where the government was at war with us, you know what I mean?
Was
Flipping finances
when
with
was it
other
the time that
countries.
the government wasn't at war with us, sir?
Right. I was referring specifically to the crack era, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay,
if you one of them politicians that was able to take advantage of our downfall, 'cause that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? That shit was war waged against us, man, and we still suffering as a people. I'm still suffering as a person. know what I mean? We find ways to comfort our soul. We find ways to distract us. We find ways to get past it and all of that. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we still ain't recovered from the crack era. We still ain't recovered from that war that was waged against us.
The
You know what I'm saying?
cracker,
And
my guy, we still have not recovered from the institution of slavery.
we ain't had time to recover from nothing.
You know what I mean? That's what the mindset still is.
Yeah,
Listen, man, Feek, we were talking about this earlier, Feek. You know, as a people, man, the the financiers of this great land that we on right now still can do something to shine something. I mean, wave something shiny in front of you, and it's like the minions from the
shiny,
Despicable Me.
shiny.
They can be like, "Ooh, shiny!" They can't think of nothing else. They can't see nothing else. All they can see is what's dangled in front of them. You know what I'm saying? So I had to realize, man, that my grandma used to tell me this all the time, man. I'm different from other people, from some people. I'm able to see reality.
Well, more so than that is you I've always considered you fearless in the face of groupthink. You've never been that guy that everybody else be like, yes, 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 yes. No. So yeah,
so
that's it.
let me share. Let
I
me share
appreciate
this
that.
on
I appreciate that.
the note of
Accurate.
what you the note of what you was just saying, Mill. I want to back you up on that and share this with you.
Shaka.
How do you trap a monkey?
Shaka.
Feban, how do you trap a monkey?
Well, a gourd is used with a narrow neck. Bait is dropped into the gourd. A piece of fruit or something shiny. The monkey puts his hand down into the neck of the gourd. And then he grabs the bait. And then he's trapped. Because he can't get his fist out.
Once he realizes he is trapped, why doesn't the monkey let go of the bait?
Because his greed makes him blind.
And what is he greedy for? Feban.
I suppose what he thinks he cannot have.
And what new baits have you brought, Febana? Bring it here for this monkey to see. Something shiny.
Well, that's a whole different type of dude right there, man. You know what I mean? Big up the Shaka Zulu. Why doesn't that come on yearly? Anyway, why hasn't that been redone as a movie? You know,
I'm confused though, man.
about
I'm a little confused about that though, because my understanding is he knew the game, but he still accepted the game.
well, he flipped the game.
Nah, he's
I'm not,
at the end he said, "What have you brung for the monkey?"
that was sarcasm.
I got it, but he still had an expectation of something.
Well, I think I don't know if I can make that determination without seeing the rest of the clip. I don't remember how the movie went
I need to
per
watch
se.
it again,
Yeah,
obviously.
I need to see the rest of
But he
that
was
clip.
up on game for real.
Yeah,
I got that.
from what I know about Shaka Zulu, that white dude probably ain't make it home. You know what I'm saying? Shaka was a very crafty dude. I'm gonna take your little riches.
I'm gonna
You
have to
know?
watch it again, man.
Yeah,
If
that's what
I
I'm
if
saying.
I if I remember the movie correctly, I think that was right before his assassination. So he knew he was getting ready to die, if I remember the movie
Okay.
correctly. And so he was just talking his shit before his time came. You know what I mean?
All right. So you gonna make me go dig up a whole copy, a Shaka Zulu from somewhere and post it
Absolutely,
on
me
Blam
as well.
TV
That's gonna
tomorrow.
be my that's
You
gonna
know
be
what I
my
mean?
my my my
Yeah,
task.
that's a must watch at this point.
Because
We
I
gotta revisit that.
absolutely
But
agree that he was
listen, we
one
spent
of the
some time on the denigration of hip hop, man. That's I personally would like to spend some time on the glory years, man. You know,
you want to hit on the high note.
you know what I mean. Some of my favorite guys, man. Because hip hop, man, as much as the slide of the culture has been used against us, you know what I mean. I think there's equal portion that has pulled us through some shit too. You know, and even taught us some shit. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of music out there that man is very inspirational. There's a lot of artists out there that's very inspirational. I agree with you, both of you guys, that they're not at the forefront as they probably should be. You know what I mean? And that's just attributed to the puppeteers. You know what I mean? So let's get into some of the shit that we like about hip hop. That's all right with you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely, man. One of the first things I remember about hip hop was some people don't like the way silent
Salad
walk. And they just spun that, kept spinning it. So yeah, I mean that still sticks with me today, man. Just
Yeah,
and
for me,
that's that fusion that was mentioned earlier. That fusion
yeah,
of everything. Man.
yeah, that's what it was for me too, man.
It was
Because
the
originally hip hop
percussion.
wasn't.
That percussion is what they call it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
For me, like the game ain't really. The rappers came along way late in the game. You know what I mean? It was more game spitters and dudes big up in the DJ. It was more about the music, man, and the vibe and the dance, and
DJ Bass,
yeah,
DJ Bass,
yeah, yeah.
Grandmaster Flash, Cool Hurt,
Who hurt?
that was DJ Bass.
Right, right. You know, like for me, I'll tell you this. Have you ever seen a Get Down feat?
Yeah,
Yeah,
told the
that's
story. He told the story right there.
right, right. The Get Down is probably as accurate. That's like my life cycle with hip hop in the early stages, man. Like I said, we seen a lot of different stages of it. Well, as you said earlier, we seen a lot of layers too. We seen just about every layer there is to see to hip hop. You know what I mean?
I'll be quite frank about it. That's part of the problem I have is me seeing it from such a at the very beginning. That's why it's hard for me to let it go.
That's why I'm not gonna let it go.
I seen the goodness of it. I seen
Exactly.
the good times of it.
Let's not forget, the conscious phase, man. Let's not forget the public enemy phase, man.
Well, that's most of the music that I have in my archive. I
Yeah.
got a lot of conscious rap.
Let's not forget about that, man. Let's
So
not forget about the Rakim. You know what I mean? The goat, the
the
R,
Brand Nubians, Poor Righteous
R,
Teachers,
PRT.
Public Enemy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Let's not forget
yeah, I
about.
get it.
I mean, Large
Absolutely.
Professor, man. Even De La Soul, man. The
Try,
whole,
try.
yeah, yeah. That whole clique, man. The Death Squad. How we gonna sleep on the Death Squad? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's
How we gonna sleep on Kane and Coogee Rap, Marley, Shan, Run DMC?
especially
I mean,
DMC. Yeah,
you know what I mean? How we gonna sleep? How we not
I
gonna
think I think really
LL?
I think DMC is. Everybody always asks this question: is when you fall in love with hip hop. I think it was DMC for me. Run
He brought some
DMC.
lyrics to the game.
Huh?
He brought some lyrics to the game.
No, I'm not even talking about the lyrics. I'm talking about the the whole
The
show.
whole persona, yeah,
Yeah, the whole thing.
yeah, yeah.
I couldn't afford the bomber jacket though. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
I couldn't afford that leather bomber
Wanted one.
Adidas.
Wanted one. Couldn't get that bitch. I feel you, bro.
Yeah, so I remember all that, man.
Another jacket, man. You kidding me? Another coat? Shit.
Yeah. So
Rob
yeah,
somebody,
I
get
think
that.
all those things. That's what connects me to it, to the music, to the culture. Is the early days, um, seeing all of the good things that happened. You talked about your brother. I remember he was a
Yeah,
rock star. You know.
yeah. But see, and again, to me, like all of that is hip hop, not just
Remember, we
these
used to go to
rappers.
black parties too. You know
Oh
what I
man,
mean?
come on,
Black
bro.
parties.
Send your call to the projects, bro. Come on, come talk to me. Holla at me. Send your
Yeah,
ass
that was
straight to the
that was it.
projects.
And you know what? As we reminisce about this and the nostalgia and all that, you do find yourself asking that question, and we've talked about it all day tonight. How did it get to from that to this?
Oh, I got the answer to that.
You know, how did it get to that from this?
I got the answer to that. Same thing that got Tulsa, Oklahoma burnt to the ground. You know what I mean? White supremacy, bro. In order for them to reign supreme, we have to look vagrant. We have to have the appearance of unkept, unruly, uneducated people that are happy in their own demise. You could throw a lot of different variables into that. I mean, but the mindset echoes the same mindset of Willie Lynch. You know, it echoes the same mindset of it's okay for a certain group of people to enslave another group of people and consider them inferior. And that's why they did it. So anything that we get that we're going to elevate, they're going to try to push it down. We got to start pushing back, break through that glass ceiling, man. You know, from my personal perspective, I think that's what needs to be done, man. The other thing I think that needs to be done is like what we're doing right here tonight, man. You know what I mean? We got to keep that legend alive, man. We got to talk about these great dudes, man. We got to and these women. Queen Latifah, the MC Light is who's better than MC Light.
Forget about Muhammad D.
Y'all, I ain't get there yet. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely, Muhammad D is probably on some real shit. Like if I'm really sitting here thinking about it, I think Muhammad D is probably the most lyrical female I've ever heard on the mic. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna agree with that. I
Lyrical?
hear you though.
Mm.
I hear you
Being
though.
Gray?
Oh man,
You say?
you a little crazy now, but Lauren, man,
I don't think Lauren was more lyrical than
her
Muhammad D.
flow is ridiculous, man. If you
She
listen to
was.
it, it's ridiculous.
Lauren was more pungent than she was a good lyricist, though. Her topics were really good. Muhammad was on a she was another level of MC.
Man, if
What you
Wise
think
was,
about that, L?
if huh?
Between Bahamadia and Lauren?
Yeah, just lyrically, just who's the more lyrical? That's a tough one. That's a
I
great
might,
argument, Feet.
I might have to go with Lauren on this one.
Think so?
Not to take nothing away from Bahamadia at all. The fact that we can even have a conversation where we put her name next to Lauren of all people says a lot about Bahamadia. But Lauren was something special.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
Something
gonna
what
ask
I'm
y'all
talking
cats. Have
about.
y'all ever heard Three the
And
Hard Way?
listen, man, huh?
Have you ever heard Three
about.
the Hard Way?
Come on, man.
Muhammad D till infinity.
Of
Ain't that the
course.
name of that cut? Come on.
Bahamadia, Megastar.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
she just didn't have a promotion
I'm the
that
one
Lauren had.
brought up Muhammad did. So
I get that. I get that.
So this is
But
the thing. This is another layer
yeah,
in hip hop, right? That I wanna bring some clarity to. When conversations are had about urban music, specifically hip hop, it's always had in the context of one versus the other, right? And I don't see that trend in no other form of music. When people talk about great country singers, they talk about their greats. You know what I mean? And the same is spread out through other genres of music. As to where in hip hop, when we talk about our greats, is always who's the best, who's better, who's at the top five, who's
you
versus
know
just
what?
appreciating.
You know
Like
what?
realistically, there's an element to Bahamadia that I have to appreciate growing up in Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? And being right there when all of that was unfolding and there's an element of Lauren that I have to appreciate because of the genius that she brought to the consciousness of the people. So, I mean, if I was to really answer your question, I would have to switch the context up a little bit versus looking at it like one versus the other. I would have to kind of just answer it more in appreciation for what they both brought to the table.
I feel you on that, bro, and I don't think that that wasn't my intent as to pit them against each other. You know what I mean?
It's
But
fun. It's fun.
but having said that, that is also part of what made the culture as great as it was, man. The battle raps,
Yeah,
man, the
I was
going
about
at
to
each
say.
other, man. That's part
About
of
to
it.
say it's fun. It's fun to have those conversations. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, that's definitely part of it. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
That's strictly, well, yeah, I'll say it.
it's part of hip hop.
That's strictly within our culture where we're pitted against each other like that.
Yeah.
There it's almost like they're saying, listen, there can only be one. Pick one. You know what I mean? There can only
Yeah,
be one. Pick one.
yeah, because you know what? I was actually just recently listening to some old Latifah, man, and I was blown away, man, by the content of her lyrics, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Latifah was a beast, man. Latifah was
What
crazy.
She was speaking different languages out there, man. I was like, hold up, bro.
She's a
It's
big
like,
woman, so I mean,
yeah, she a big chick, man.
So that now here go another layer to this conversation.
Big, beautiful woman. Let's
Another
rephrase. Latifah can get
another
it.
layer to this conversation is how this culture that we call hip hop undermines our women's contribution to the art
Undermines it.
in a big way.
Uh, Expound.
I mean, we can name dozens of male hip hop artists. We only can name a handful of female hip hop artists that we appreciate. You know what I'm saying? Women, I mean, look at music today. Like, women don't get the opportunity to really make songs about being women as much as they do the opportunity to make songs about being hoes in the disguise of it being sexually liberated. Like, women, the contribution that women are able to bring to this so-called culture is not met with open arms by the culture itself.
yeah, that's.
Do me a favor, Dre. Run that by me one more again.
I get what he's saying. He's saying that women are not big up in hip hop. You can go down the line and list, like, if we had this top 10 list, you can list like 10 male artists right off the bat. But when you get to the list for the women, you'd be hard pressed to find 7. Can you find 7?
Lauryn Hill, Bahama Dia, Queen Latifah, MC Light, Remy Martin,
Roxanne,
Eve,
Shantae.
and I will put Kim or Shantae, either one. Foxy. There's a lot of chicks out there. Jean Grey. You know what I mean? I get what y'all saying though. It's like,
Don't forget about Nikki either. I mean, she got a
Nicki
little
who?
bit. Nice.
Man, go ahead with that, bro.
Hey, you ever listen to her lyrics, man?
Nope.
It's some art form in there, man.
Okay.
It's some art form in there. he said, okay.
I mean, it's some art. I ain't listen.
It's some art form in
That's
there.
why I say one of the layers is about censorship, and it's not even for me about censorship. Like, it's art form in all of this. It was art form in what Luke was doing. It was art in what NWA was doing. It's art in all of this shit. All of this shit is appealing.
I think
I ain't
Nikki
taking
is
Not all
bad.
of it.
Man. I think she's nice, man.
I get it. It's appealing to somebody.
Yeah, I ain't taking away from nobody's artistic
Oh, I'm
expression.
not. That's not.
I'm just saying that the shit is over financed on purpose in a way that allows it to be weaponized, and it's working.
Yeah.
And it is long overdue that we stop denying, especially if we're gonna embrace it as a culture. It's long overdue that we stop denying the fact that there's a lot of destruction and demise is being instigated as hip hop serves the soundtrack to many aspects of our lives. You know, on a whole, not just with black people, but across the board, hip hop is very influential.
Y'all familiar with that?
It's a classic right there,
One of
man.
the dopest hip hop albums I ever heard in my
One of the
life.
most dopest hip hop albums ever created, and it barely got any type of, you know what I
Mainstream
mean? We
love.
know about it. Yeah, we know about it. But
This nigga had me studying patois, so I can
yeah,
understand what Damien was saying, bro. So I hear y'all though. I hear y'all. It ain't always been like the way, but the slide just ushered in a lot of bullshit, man. You know, the slide of the culture, man. The devaluing, as you put it, of the
what
culture,
what
man.
what make it insulting
Agree.
is that it's people that get wealthy off of it and then wave that shit back in front of the faces of the people that suffer as a result. Like, and
Well,
it's just
that's what Feek spoke of in terms of who's monetizing it, man, and at what cost. You know what I mean?
That
So
Leon Cohen
right.
interview was ridiculous to me,
No,
man.
it was on point. I think
I had to put my glasses on, man. He spit in my eyes, man. For real, man.
But isn't that par for the course what the European has done? We just gonna keep it here in what we call America, man. Isn't that par for the course? And that what they
yeah,
do?
it's an extension of all of our other conversations about colonialism and, like you
Yeah,
said, white supremacy. All that play a role, and
I think that is that is the rule.
Mhm.
You know, what I mean? That's why Eminem the best. That's why Eminem is considered the best right now. White supremacy. You know what I mean? No more, no less, man.
Yeah, it's a combination of instigation, you know, in terms of white supremacy, and then it's another part that's accountability on our part, and people negating that accountability and basically committing treason against us as a community by way of acting as agents.
I got
That's
one.
what I was saying earlier. I
Right,
didn't
yeah.
say agent. You put a word on exactly what I meant. Is we got double agents within our own community, man.
I said that earlier. It's
Yeah,
like
you
these,
said
these
it as
new
well.
rappers are like counter spies, man. Like you know what I mean?
And then another thing they do is they pit the old against the young. They create a mentality right now, especially you see that mentality way bigger than it has been over the years. Like when we was younger, when our old heads spoke, we sometimes we paid attention. Now it's really like you old head, you young niggas, like where they pit it old against young. So now you can't even really solve no problems because you need, especially when you're dealing with men, like you need the balance of both of those worlds, man, to bring things full circle. When you're dealing with a male dominated culture and you got the old niggas against the young niggas and the young niggas against the old niggas. Now nothing is maturing, and this is exclusively happening to us in our music. You know what I mean? And you got it's so powerful that from the United States all the way to Africa, you got kids in Africa drinking codeine with Tupac t-shirts on, killing each other. and you know what I mean? And the
Well,
shit, you know, uh,
Feek spoke of that. I think it was our last episode, man, where he spoke of traveling abroad, and I believe his words were, Black Americans are the most emulated people on the globe. You
We
know what I'm
are.
saying? And yeah, so it's all par for the course. And again, like if you can show the worst side of something to elevate yourself and to monetize it and to make money off of it in the same process, you can. Yeah, I mean, it's like killing two birds with one stone. You throw one stone and you kill, two birds with that shit.
I agree with Nas is saying though. His whole premise tonight is we gotta take control of it. At least
Absolutely.
at some point, all the nostalgia, all the memories. If we are for pedophilia, like Biggie said, if you can sit through that,
That's your man.
consume that, and
That's
say
your man.
okay, and shake your head at that, then that's a problem.
If
That's the
that's your
problem we
guy,
gotta solve.
if your man can be a pedophile, your
I
Ace
mean,
Boone,
if his
Ace
man
Boone,
can
as they
get
used to say.
if his man can come out on some mob ball shit and tell me that he's beyond reproach, and if I got a problem with it, and I should quit hip hop, and now I gotta fall back because them is like fighting words. You know what I'm saying? And I don't just mean physically, I mean spiritually. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's so disrespectful to me and so many other people. Such say that in response to somebody asking you your position on the matter, you saying, okay, he's accused of being a pedophile, he's beyond reproach, and if you got a problem with it, quit hip hop. Well then, bitch, fuck you and hip hop then.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, that's the stance you are. That's the position you want to put me in. Well, I'm walk away from it.
I'm gonna
fuck you and hip hop. If that's what it is.
Well, I don't think he has license.
If because he's a leader in hip hop, he can commit such an offense without any question or no reproach, and that's your position. Now you telling me you down with that? You part of that?
You telling me you're part of that? So I'm gonna say
now you want to make a black song now that everything Black Lives Matter and that is marketable now? Fuck out of here.
That's where it was going with it. Like, you know,
and we ain't even gonna get into conversations that I had with him personally on the matter. I ain't even gonna get into that. I'm gonna leave that alone tonight.
Appreciate you for that.
You know what I'm saying? Now you want to come up.
Because I know you.
Now you want to give me black. Fuck out of here.
I'm gonna say this about Chris, man.
It's a dope song. Don't get it wrong. I heard the shit and was like, yo, that shit sound dope. As a hip hop.
But how much of it is genuine? I feel you. How much of that is genuine? How much of that is relevance? Being relevant. For Chris. See, Chris always had I was forced to take Chris with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? Because at times he can show complete brilliance. You know what I mean? Other times, man, you can tell you that he's just he's a dude who's going to do what serves Chris. You know what I mean?
Obviously, you two gentlemen have more insider than I do on that. So yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, Chris is who he is, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, y'all got more information.
He is who he is. I'm just pulling. I never met him personally. I'm just pulling from.
You know, check this out, man. I'm not. You know, I understand. We respect these dudes for their work that they put in for a lot of different reasons, man. I'm not really saying this as an attack on any one person. I'm talking about the nature of what we're dealing with on the whole.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And how we come up with all these different excuses and reasons to justify bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm just at a point where I feel like we need to see shit, acknowledge it for what it is. You know what I mean? And
I'm justifying the bullshit. I agree with you 100%.
I'm
not even going to attempt to defend KRS One. You know, he don't need me to defend him. He's his own man. You know what I mean? What I'm basing my statements off, Feek, is just his lyrics that I've listened to.
Yeah,
it's so contradictory sometimes, man. You know what I mean?
Well, it goes well, and not just saying this whole.
That's what I'm saying, right? I'm agreeing with L. Yeah,
and Charleston White said it too, man.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with them, cats. Like, I'm not saying, you know. First of all, Chris personally himself cannot speak for hip hop to me. He can speak as a hip hop artist, you know what I mean, or a well noted one, you know what I mean. But he can't speak to where I should reside with my viewpoints of hip hop because they don't line up with his. You know what I mean, or his predecessor. That's some fuck shit Bambaataa did, man.
Man,
fuck boy shit.
No, you know me, man. You know me. Well, I give a damn what another man say about
exactly
how things are supposed to be, man.
That's his perspective. He's when you give your perspective, you open yourself up to all the
listen, as a man, as a man, you leave me no choice.
Oh, he had to know he gonna take some heat about that statement.
Yeah, you know.
Check this out. In summary, I'm gonna say this: hip hop is not my culture.
Got you.
My culture is
You've been leading
influenced.
that up. You've been leading to that all night.
We pretty
I
much got
get
that,
you.
bro.
I
I
get
don't
you.
think it's any of our culture. I think my point is. Okay, finish what you were saying first, bro. My bad.
Hip hop influences my culture. Hip hop is not my culture. My culture existed before the term hip hop was being used. Now, after allowing hip hop to rule over my culture, it's now time to reclaim our culture. Call it what the fuck you want. Call it hip hop, God hop. Call it whatever you want.
Rippity rap.
Call it whatever you want. It's time for us to reclaim our culture, understand that hip hop as we know it is an influence upon our culture. But culture is supposed to be a way of life. Hip hop is too irresponsible for me to embrace it as a way of life.
Mm.
My way of life is my way of life.
Right.
In that, hip hop can have various influences. I can eat the meat and throw away the bones. But I can't allow it to be the definitive foundation or core to what I consider to be my culture.
Isn't it ironic too? You go to like your family gatherings, pre-COVID, of course. You don't have hip hop on a like you got your moms and you got all your people around. You are you playing hip hop?
I'm not playing strictly one genre of music at all.
But to your point,
you know what I'm saying. Stop playing with me, man.
To your point,
your point. If Dear Mama come on, you turning it off? Dear Mama?
Huh?
If Dear Mama come on the radio, everybody ain't appreciating that?
I was about to say to Feek's point, answer your question, you have to really go the extra mile in order to play what we call hip hop freely in an open environment around people that you respect.
Absolutely.
That in itself is a problem. I gotta really go through some thought processes to figure out, all right, I can play some instrumentals, some jazz, hip hop, I can play maybe some Mos Def. I gotta figure it out.
That's the whole point. You trying to trick
marginalizing it though, man.
I can't look. What I can't do, what I'm not gonna do is
regulating it to a genre, man, to a type of hip-hop.
Nah, but see, we not doing that. It's regulated to a genre, whether I speak on it or not. I'm just acknowledging what's already been regulated.
I mean, you ain't gonna put on all the same R&B either, though.
But if I put on Spotify and play hip hop, it's gonna play what it's gonna play. It's already marginalized. I'm not doing that. If anything, we doing the opposite.
So that goes to your point. Then you take more control of it.
We got. That's what I'm saying. We got to take it.
I'm agreeing with you.
What I'm saying is that we have to take control of our culture.
Right.
Not just take control of hip hop, because hip hop only represents a very small portion of our culture.
Agree.
And I think that's where the misconception comes in. That we define hip hop as a culture, but it's really just a portion or influence of the culture. It's not the culture itself.
It has its own. Well,
I think the larger point is that we can't freely just disseminate that to our people. We just can't.
Not as a culture. It's too irresponsible. It's too contaminated at this stage.
I got the family gathering. I got everybody coming over. I got friends. I got family. Like Ellen said, if I put that on Spotify on rap music, bruh, I got kids.
Right. There are elements to it that I can appreciate, but
let me ask
holistically, no.
Let me ask you this then. Do any of you guys have playlists?
But that goes to structure and organization. We're talking about freely disseminating this culture. That's what we've been calling it all night.
Well, you can't do that with religion either, man. I mean, they all have their equal ills, man. can't do
I'm
that with
agree.
religion either.
I agree.
You know what I mean? You can't do that with a lot of things, man. You know what I mean?
I
And I
agree.
mean, forgive me for being the devil's advocate, man, but
No, you putting out a point that needs to be. It's good.
All right. So listen, this is what
I
I
hate
say to
boxers, man. I hate boxers, man.
this is what I say to that. Like, you right. It's a lot of things you can do that with, man. I can't just really just take certain things. Certain things like Chris Rock had this joke on his comedy show I was watching last night, and he was like, "Yo,
Chris
cops
Rock
say
is
that
cool right now.
cops say cops say that it's just a couple bad apples when a black kid gets shot." And Chris Rock was like, "Yo, some professions you can't have bad apples.
You have
Like
bad.
if you got an airplane, you can't just say, yo, some of our pilots are good, but some of them are bad apples. Like, no, all your pilots got to be good." You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
so, yeah, we can say that about a lot of stuff, like, yeah, religion and all that. A lot of stuff we can't take on freely, but some stuff when you talk about something that's vital to our existence, if it's not something that you can take on freely and is vital to your existence, then it has to be corrected so that you can take it on freely. Like a
Right.
glass of water. You don't
So
want
this,
nobody pissing in your water and then you're gonna drink it. Our music
let me say
that's
this.
vital.
I may have delivered what I was saying incorrectly. In no way am I saying, across the board that you can take hip hop music and just say a hip hop, like you said, Spotify, and you type in hip hop and just hit play. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're gonna get everything
You can't even do that on Pandora either. But
that's
go ahead.
incumbent to who uses Pandora, man. That's incumbent to
I'm
the
just saying.
genre of hip hop,
It's,
right?
it's free.
I mean, and then was real to add to that is that majority of what you're going to get is
On
going to
algorithm,
be
but who's putting it out there? So that's why I say, like, to your point initially, we just got to take control of that kind of shit, man. Because I can put on hip hop at a family event, man, and not offend anybody as long as I take the care to pick out what it is I'm playing. The hip hop is so broad. You know what I mean? It's so broad. I could play your shit at a family function, man, with the curse words and everything, and ain't nobody there. Too many people gonna be upset because of the message, because of the content of it, and it greatly depends on who your family is too. You know what I mean? Like you said earlier, man, I hear 40-year-old mothers and their 20-year-old daughters listening to the same exact fucking song and reacting to it the same exact way and even bonding off of it. You know what I mean? So if I'm looking at it from a position of purity, that's dope because they connected on that. You understand what I'm saying? When you start to embody what you're listening to, like your other analogy, when life begins to imitate art, therein lies the problem. You know what I mean? So we got to take more control. That's why I said, it needs to be some kind of police or some kind of committee that dictates what's being pushed out to the masses. Because to your other point, all of it is an art form, and it can be appreciated by everybody to some degree or some level. You know, I'm not going to listen to certain songs when I'm riding in the car with my daughter. You know what I'm saying? But we do bang the Bobby Smurder. We were at the time anyway. You know what I mean? So like the other part of that for me is your relation to who you're disseminating this music to. You know what I mean? Because some of it is a touch point, man. Whereas though, hey, I've had this conversation with my daughter. When guys try to talk to you, approach you, man, are they disrespectful? Are they calling you bitches? Are they approaching you in the same aggressive manner that you're listening to this on the song? Or are you even, open or receptive to hearing that from somebody who's trying to get to know you? And this is why you shouldn't be. You know what I mean? So I get what you're saying, man. I'm not in disagreement with what you're saying. I just look at it like we just have to be more autonomous when we're disseminating it to who we're disseminating it to. And we can't let the negative, man. Another thing that I don't like that we seem to do sometimes, not us right here, but black people, is we seem to let the worst be pushed up to the front. and become the moniker for who we are. And we're in total control of that, or we should be in total control of that. So yeah, man, we just gotta be more and more diligent in what we let pass. Like, you know what I mean? Stop letting the kids do what the fuck they want to do. Tell them turn that bullshit off. Put something else on. They gonna be. You still gonna dance. You still gonna have a good time. You
I
still
give
gonna
you
find.
credit for that, man. I've
Huh?
always told you. I've always told you. I supremely respect your paternal skills. Um, that's where it starts, really.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
appreciate that. Thanks for the compliment, bro.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's where it
But
starts.
yeah, I mean to the point though, it's like, if you're so busy worrying about everything else that's raising your kids or raising the next generation up, man, not just your biological kids, but if we're so concerned with pointing the finger at this is why this is, then we're part of the problem. You know what I mean? So we gotta take our wisdom, our experience, our love, and we gotta give it to them. And we gotta the shit you was doing in school with the kids, Dre. You know what I mean? That's love, bro. You know what I mean? And
We gotta step into those spaces.
we gotta take that by the reins,
That's what I
man.
said. We gotta
Right?
step.
Exactly.
I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. We that's on us, man.
We gotta get them Lear Cohens out of there too. Them Jerry Hellers and those Lear
We just
Cohens.
gotta stop fucking with him. LeBron need to get a fucking record label then. Shit, niggas like him. You know what I mean? You be the fucking record label. You dig what I'm saying? Fuck them. We don't. I'm tired of them dictating our culture, man. So I feel y'all 100%. And the current state of hip hop, which is the topic of our show tonight, is indicative of just that. Our culture being dictated to us by somebody who's not like us, who's not of us, who's not for us. Simply. So that's my piece on it, man.
That was a hell of a piece too, man.
I appreciate it.
You stood up for hip hop, man.
Got to. Somebody got to do it,
You
man. I love
stood
hip
up for
hop,
hip
man.
hop, man.
I love hip hop, bro. It's part of my fabric, man.
I
You know,
love the older versions of hip hop
yeah, of
before the
course.
corruption.
Of
If
course.
Fred said it's bigger than hip hop.
Well, according to what y'all say, the corruption was at the beginning. So I mean, corruption's always
That's
been part
just
of it.
part of the societal element.
Right. And that's my point. And like you said, there's so many layers to it, right? You did say that. Don't know thyself
Absolutely.
sweatshirt is. I see you plugging yourself, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Man, this has
saying?
been a hell of a conversation, man. I feel like
I see you plugging yourself, son.
oh yeah, that's tight, man. I mean,
Yeah.
that goes without saying. I said
Right. I'm gonna big up my guy. You know what I'm saying?
that goes without saying,
I,
man.
I guess I gotta get some merch now,
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I gotta get some
absolutely.
7 mil shit, huh? All right, I got you. I
Yeah,
remember
that's
when you
tight.
got that too. He can't show it off. Look what I got. All right, I
No,
got
I ain't no, that's
as he should. He's
it,
supposed to.
it,
Fuck
it,
you.
it, it wasn't even it didn't even have to be mentioned. You see it.
I
It's
mean, well,
clear.
they might not know what they're looking at. I'm about building bridges, man. I'm about helping the people, man. I understand.
Absolutely,
You know
man.
what I mean? They don't know. They just look at a question mark and a K and like, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We're
absolutely.
disseminating. But yeah, man, hip hop is a hell of a topic, man. I'm glad you brought that to us, Dred. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm glad
it's
you picked that because
perfect
it's actually a fun
conversation.
conversation, man. And it's
Perfect conversation to have, man, because
yeah,
it is the bigger picture is exactly what we discussed tonight. How it
reclaiming
affects our community,
our
and how it
culture.
affects our women.
Oh Lord,
You said you're a girl dad. You know what I mean? I'm a girl
girl,
dad too.
yeah, you a vet.
You know,
You a vet.
and it definitely does have an effect, man.
Yeah,
Those
it's
questions
definitely a
that you asked
ride.
of your daughter are the questions that need to be asked too. How are you being approached? Do you like
Yes,
that?
yes,
What is that about?
exactly.
The hard
How,
questions, bro.
how is that so acceptable, man? Like, or is it even acceptable? And it shouldn't be.
The
Hell no, it
hard
shouldn't be
questions.
acceptable. Fuck no. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. So, and hip hop ain't going nowhere. It's safe to say that.
Well, we can make it go somewhere.
No, I mean like disappear. When I say disappear, we we can't make that disappear. Because as the dress said, we don't call it hip hop, we still will call it something else. You know, so
But I feel what Ellen said about KRS-One. You can't challenge me like that with that dysfunction. You can't challenge me with that dysfunction, man.
Chris can't challenge me with a lot of stuff that he said.
No, I'm just saying, period. Not just him as a person.
You ain't the
You
voice.
can't challenge me with that dysfunction for culture, and the challenging point is pedophilia or whatever.
The acceptance of pedophilia.
Yeah, what do we
in relation to this individual right here?
Yeah.
And if you question it,
don't challenge me on that.
You can stop listening to hip hop if you question.
You know,
that's kind of wild.
Because
when you frame it like that,
we full grown men.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Same age. Nigga, you got me by about a year or two, nigga.
Full grown men, man.
Right. Facts.
So.
Facts. So yeah, but you know, I think that's also a very pertinent stance to take, son. You know what I mean? Because it brings awareness, man. You know, it brings awareness to a situation and a tactic that, you know, we keep falling victim to.
Yeah.
Strategy that we keep falling victim to. So, I'm appreciative of this conversation, man.
As soon as we close out here, man, guess where I'm gonna watch that full interview.
KRS-One?
Put my glasses on though, because I need to see that, man. Because that's indicative. That's indicative of the mentality that someone would have when they're not living in the community with you.
Exactly.
They don't see it. I got it.
Oh, you talking about the Lee Cohen interview?
Yeah, I got to see that, man.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna check that out too.
I got to see that, man.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna check that out, man.
Now, you know what? Now I see why. If you've ever seen anything Dash has said about culture vultures, and when he mentions this guy, he spits it out like Leo Cohen. You know what I mean? Now I see why, man. He's saying that on a nationally syndicated show. Can you imagine what he says behind closed doors?
Man, I think he said it on a nationally syndicated show.
I'm saying it's worse than that.
That's probably more graphic. I don't think it get any worse than what he said.
I'm
saying, I'm gonna go with the talent over anything else, man. I don't care about nothing else. I don't care about message. I don't care about intent. I don't care about delivery. I care about is this guy saying exactly what we want him to say about the rest of you motherfuckers. And we're going to sell it. We're going to push it. We're going to make this guy, you know, larger than life, or this girl larger than life. And, you know, boom.
Profit.
More than profit. More than profit. The upholding of white supremacy. You know, it's more. The profit is a huge part of it, of course. But it's more important to maintain that edge over said demographic of people. So, what you gonna say,
Before we close out, I want to show y'all a couple clips. We heading towards that point in the hour, but I just want to show y'all. I want to get these last two clips out of the way since KRS-One came back up again. I want to give y'all a piece of that, and then I want to close out with something else. It's all said and done. So,
oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, since it came back up, I'm gonna just give y'all a little
put my glasses on for KRS-One.
It's the interview that I was referencing. I don't know if y'all have seen it. So you
put my glasses on. He not
rather than me paraphrasing or taking my word for it, you know what I mean? You can.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let him spit in my eyes. I got my glasses on.
Yeah, I should have brought my shades with me.
A lot of people felt that I was insensitive, that my remarks, like I said, you know, I could care less. I don't care, you know, and I really don't. Like,
what is it you don't care? You don't care about the victim's statement, or you don't care about the narrative that's followed?
Let me go deep into it then. There is a professional statement that I can make that's sincere. And that's the statement that I actually made. Africa Bambaataa has to deal with Africa Bambaataa. The accusations made against him are made against him. They're not made against hip hop. On top of that, nothing that Africa Bambaataa did within and for hip hop is to be taken away from him because of these accusations. Now, many people felt that that was insensitive. They said, you know, what I should, you know, I guess join the bandwagon of people that was incriminating Africa Bambaataa. My issue is that, first of all, we're talking about accusations. That's what we're talking about. Africa Bambaataa himself says, they're all liars, and this is not the truth. This is not the case. He vehemently disagrees with this. His lawyer has put out statements. They're ready to start suing people. BAM is against this. The other 4 people, though, they came forward. Nah, this is real. This is true.
Right.
Now we're sitting here with no evidence, no conviction, nothing but accusations.
Right, but one of the things that we have to bear in mind is that I know that you're saying that these allegations are against the individual, not against the culture.
Right.
But it's the culture that actually, if these allegations are true,
yes,
that added to their reticence in coming forward. A hyper-masculine culture whereby abuse can be argued away. Well, you know, she's of age, look what she was wearing. And there's also a great deal of ignorance. If there's same-sex abuse, allegations, or whatever.
Right.
Oh, you're saying he's gay.
Right.
Sexual orientation and abuse are often definable solely by the individual.
Right.
What we have to bear in mind is that not everybody comes forward at the time, because we broadly don't know the trauma that's been enacted upon somebody. Wait, I'm with you. I'm a journalist, I know. Right.
Yes, okay.
Okay, so we have to...
Granted.
I think what we have to bear in mind is that there is also the reality that people who matter a great deal and have met and have actually narrated, they've soundtracked our lives. An allegation like that can completely destabilize our perception of who they are.
Why?
Because
they're human.
Yeah, but then so why do you care less?
Because they're human.
So you think to...
They're human.
So if they're human, and isn't part of being human being humane to those who have the courage to step forward into an enormous arena?
No, these people work for the FBI. This is a whole different thing we're dealing with. When you're talking about Africa Bambaataa, first of all, you're talking about the person who invented hip hop, not participated in it. There was no hip hop before Africa Bambaataa. Let's start there. So anyone who has a problem with Africa Bambaataa should quit hip hop.
What you've got to, I've just got to state to you that you cannot just dismiss.
No dismission. No.
But when you say you could care less, that's exactly how it's.
No. Let me tell you what I can care less about. Accusations and gossip. KRS does not get involved in that. Show me the evidence, and I will definitely have justice done.
But if it's historical, the evidence is very hard to acquire.
Then why say it?
But often because of the culture upon which you'd have to enter.
You spit my eyes, man.
That's toeing the line right there.
You spit my eyes. That's why I have my glasses on.
Yeah, that's definitely toeing the line. You know, and that's.
You sound like a politician.
Sound like fucking Umar Johnson.
He gave you this joint and everything. The politician thumb when he talk.
I didn't even think. I ain't now you say it. Yeah.
Yo.
He looked like Clinton up there, man. Bill Clinton or somebody, man. One of them politician dudes, man.
That's for the FBI.
Yeah.
Who the fuck? Big Poppy work for the FBI?
That was crazy.
Poppy work for the FBI. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah,
What's
I
this?
think she was. I
And
think she
why a
was.
conspiracy against Bam? Like,
I
you know
think
what I
she
mean?
was disgusted with him after that.
I mean, I thought, yeah, the sister, she was doing a great job as a journalist, man. Shout
I
out to
think she was
whoever that
disgusted with
sister
him
was.
I
about
think she was disgusted with him, man.
about four
Real.
sentences into the interview. I think she was disgusted with him.
Yeah,
I was,
yeah. She was done with him.
and like that's my thing with Chris too, man. Like, you know what I mean? Chris will do some shit like that. That quintessentially discredits all the good shit that he do. And say, to me, to me.
Yeah, he spit my eyes, man. He sound like Lear. He sound
Wait,
like Lear.
but see this, and that's what I'm saying. This is the shit we expected as a people. We expected to just take this shit, like, you know what I mean?
Well, how about this? You know, just like a vampire, man, you got to be careful who you invite into your house. Everybody don't mean you well. Everybody that walk like you and talk like you don't mean you well, man. That's
Now,
not the way
mind you, since we on the subject, you know, I got my own Africa Bambaataa story. But I just, I ain't, you know, tonight I just ain't feel like talking about meat tonight. But
Well, let me say this.
I seen y'all when y'all covered that.
Let me say this. I don't know
but
who his brother is
I
that you
watched
ran
that.
across, but I'm thankful to him. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
Listen,
And so should you be.
oh yeah,
That man spares you some horrific reality, man.
oh yeah,
Potentially. Potentially.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
He gave me a story that I could feel comfortable talking about openly. The
Right.
story could have went a whole different direction.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Having
So,
said that, you were a much older guy at that point, so you know you probably wasn't band flavor.
oh yeah, yeah. You
Yeah,
know,
you probably wasn't band flavor at all.
listen. When y'all covered that, I was sitting there watching it. All I remember you saying was, "I would have died that night."
Yeah, he ain't have much choice.
Yeah,
I,
I saw y'all when y'all covered that, man. That was a hell of a story, man.
I can't think it was a stand up dude alive that'd be like, all right, just go ahead, man. I just want to go home.
Yeah,
I can't
listen.
envision that, man.
I felt you when you said that, man. When you said that, I felt you, man, deeply.
Yeah.
But more so than me feeling you on that was the brother pulling your coat.
I'm talking about.
So
Stand up dude.
if we go without touching on it, if he knew, Chris knew. Come on now.
Oh, Chris knew.
Come on now.
Might have been a victim, man. Shit.
Whole Zulu Nation
I
knew.
mean, yeah. Apparently, it wasn't a well kept secret. You know, amongst the inner circle, it wasn't a secret.
How you
Anyone
gonna
said
keep
well
that a
kept.
secret though?
Yeah, it wasn't a secret amongst the inner circle. You know what I
I
mean?
found out that Poppy said something, so I think they did a pretty good job of keeping it from the masses. You know, so you know how they do that. I'm with you on that one, Feet. How the fuck they do that? Maybe they was FBI informants or employees or whoever.
Yeah.
I doubt it. Poppy.
Nah. See what I take from that was he said he gave it away in that interview. He said he's human.
Initially, right? Touch points, right?
And then the sister's so dope with it. I was interviewing him. She came back with the shits like, well, to be human doesn't it mean to be humane towards others?
She was smacking him across the head.
Smack the shit out of you.
That's that hubris. Chris think he's smarter than everybody.
That's that
right.
You know, he think he's smarter and he can control the narrative.
That's that.
She was tight with it. She was way above. It was almost like she predicted it.
What's that terminology you use? That's that what?
What's that?
What's that word you use? That was the hubris.
Yeah. That hubris is when you think you.
I know what it means.
Fucking.
I just like to point out when you use nice words, man. I enjoy it.
Man, you killing me, man.
You can go ahead and define it for me though. I want to make sure I'm using it right when I use it.
Oh, okay. Hubris
still that one
is when you're extremely arrogant to the point where you think that your shit don't stink.
Oh, kind of like the gods of Egypt being played by white actors. I'm sorry, that was completely unrelated. I apologize.
So tonight you gave
With
us
English accents. I'm sorry. I'm done. That's it.
hubris. You gave us hubris, and what was the other one you gave us earlier?
Loquacious.
Loquacious.
That sound like a name, don't it?
You get ready to be somebody's name. Might be part of my title, the loquacious 7 minutes.
Let me introduce you to Loquacious Thomas. If you talk to me, don't worry about it. That's his name. Yeah.
And Dred, I like to say this, man. You know, you show extreme humility, man, in bridging Christianity and hip hop, man. I'm proud of your growth, brother.
Word.
Yes.
I don't know what I did right, but thank you.
Yes. You stopped. That's what you did.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, bro, that was dope. I understood the bridge though. Nice bridge.
Oh yeah, yeah, and
nice a lot of similarities.
Yeah, it's a touch point for all of them, man.
It's a lot of similarities, man. Yeah.
Yeah, because this conversation, when we talked about having this conversation, we talked about it leading into talking about the conscious movement and what's going on with that. So I guess we can prepare for that for next week. You know what I mean?
Conscious movement. We got one of them. I just told you, man. I seen a video of a black woman crying while Kamala Harris got sworn in. And let's not forget, didn't Joe Biden have the second best presidential campaign slogan I ever heard? If you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. Nigga.
That in battle, that one in battle for the soul of the nation.
Nigga, nation ain't got no fucking soul. This
I'm gonna be ready for next week's conversation if we gonna bring that up, because I do have some, probably some unpopular thoughts on that too.
What, the elections or the conscious movement thing?
No, not the conscious movement. Not even the election. It's just that I feel like due to our dysfunction, we get a little over emotional. The crying over some politics and stuff like that. I mean, the celebrations, the pearls, the chucks. I've seen it all. I've been. I don't really comment on it though.
So listen. So I want to say two things. First of all, somebody put up a post that was the first African American woman.
That was me.
Yeah, well, she said she ain't African American. That's the first thing I want to say. She
said that was me. I put it up.
Okay, yeah. She said she ain't African American. She said I'm black, but goddamn it, I ain't black like you niggas.
I didn't hear her say that, man.
I'm paraphrasing, but that was her words. Second thing I'm gonna say is not gonna be a popular. Not gonna go over too well for me, I don't think, especially with my sister. So we should get used to an inswell of women into high-ranking positions. I think that's strategically done.
This is gonna be a real good conversation.
I think that's strategically done. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Next week is gonna be. Do I need to bring my knife, man? I need to bring my
knife. God damn, what the fuck shit you into? I'm gonna have my swords. I'm gonna have my swords ready next week.
Yeah,
literally. I'm gonna have my swords ready next week. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm gonna say that again. I think that's just a very strategic move.
You gonna have your sword, man?
That's a machete. No, that's a sword. You gonna make me run in my car and get my swords, man.
Head chopping season. I told you that, yo.
I'm gonna have to go.
Yeah, he did talk about chopping.
All right, so I'm bringing my swords next week, man. I'm ready to go to the car and get them out. Yes, I ride around with swords in my car.
You ride around.
Head chopping season. Next week's topic is head chopping, yo.
So head chopping. Not the conscious movement anymore. We offer that.
Is that too? Whoever head deserve to be chopped off. Rap music, politicians, conscious movement. It don't matter. We putting them on the chopping block next week, yo.
All right, I'll bring them back too. I'll bring them back. That's what we gonna do, man. I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna put it right here.
We gonna knock some heads next week, yo.
I look forward to it always, brothers.
I get into that kind of shit, man.
we knocked Chris head a little bit on this one, yo.
Hey, listen, he deserved that, man. He
took
deserved
it easy
that.
on Chris. He took it easy on Chris. I like Chris. Sometimes.
Yeah, well, next week we gonna chop.
And he's not being a big old dick. I can fuck with Chris.
We gonna chop some heads. But listen, we at that point. I got one more thing. I don't know if I'm gonna play this whole thing. I want to at least get y'all a piece of it before we close out, man, and then this will be it. We'll just from here we'll meet up next week. So I'm gonna go ahead and share this
now, brothers. It's always a pleasure.
Yes, indeed. I'm gonna share this in closing. It's called The Message. It's called The Message to the Messenger, and it's a message to the hip hop artist by one of our great godfathers of the game.
Oh man, I got
Hey, yeah, we're the same brothers from a long time ago. We was talking about television and doing it on the radio. What we did was to help our generation realize they got to get out there and get busy because it wasn't going to be televised. We got respect for young rappers and the way they're freewaying. But if you're going to be teaching folks things, be sure you know what you're saying. Older folks in our neighborhood got plenty of know-how. Remember, if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be out there now. And I ain't coming at you with no disrespect. All I'm saying is that you damn well got to be correct. Because if you're going to be speaking for a whole generation and you know enough to try and handle their education, be sure you know the real deal about past situations and ain't just repeating what you heard on a local TV station. Sometimes they tell lies and put them in a truthful disguise. But the truth is, that's why we said it wouldn't be televised. They don't know what to say to our young folks, but they know that you do. And if they really knew the truth, why would they tell you? The first sign is peace. Tell all them gun-toting young brothers that the man is glad to see us out there killing one another. We raised too much hell when they were shooting us down, so they started poisoning our mind and trying to jerk us all around. And then they tell us they got to come in and control our situation. They want half of us on dope and the other half in incarceration. If the ones they want dead ain't killed by what they instigated, they can put some dope on the brother's body and claim it was drug-related. Tell them drug-related means there don't need to be no investigation, or at least that's the way they're going to play it on the local TV station. All your 9mm brothers, give them something to think about. Tell them you heard that this is the new word. They got to work that stuff out. Because somehow they feeling the wrong way with a gun in their hands. They feeling real independent, but they just pulling contracts with a man. 5 and 5 will tell you it's hopeless out there on the avenue, but if they really knew the truth, why would they tell you? And if they look at you like you're insane and they start calling you scarecrow and say you ain't got no brain, or start telling folks that you suddenly gone lame, or that white folks that finally co-opted your game, or worse yet, implying that you don't really know, that's the same thing they said about us a long time ago. Young rappers, one more suggestion before I get out of your way. But I appreciate the respect you give me and what you got to say. I'm saying protect your community and spread that respect around. Tell brothers and sisters they got to calm that bullshit down, because we're terrorizing our old folks and we brought fear into our homes, and they ain't got to hang out with the senior citizens. Just tell them, damn it, leave the old folks alone. And we know who's ripping off the neighborhood. Tell them that BS has got to stop. Tell them you're sorry they can't handle it out there, but they got to take the crime off the block. And if they look at you like they think you're insane, or start calling you scarecrow thinking you ain't got no brain, or start telling folks that you suddenly gone lame, or that white folks have suddenly co-opted your game, or worse yet, saying that you really don't know, that's the same thing they said about me a long time ago. And if they tell folks that you finally lost your nerve, that's the same thing they said about us when we said Johannesburg. But I think you young folks need to know that things don't go both ways. You can't talk respect on every other song or just every other day. What I'm speaking on now is the raps about the women folks. On one song, she's your African queen, and on the next one, she's a joke. And you ain't said no words that I haven't heard, but that ain't no compliment. It only insults 8 people out of 10 and questions your intelligence. 4-letter words or 4-syllable words won't make you a poet. It will only magnify how shallow you are and let everybody know it. And if they look at you like they think you're insane, or they call you scarecrow thinking you ain't got no brain, or start telling folks that you suddenly gone lame, or that the white folks have finally co-opted your game, or you really don't know, they said that about me a long time ago. If they finally start telling people that you lost your nerve, that's what they said about Johannesburg. You ain't insane. You have got a brain. You haven't gone lame. You have got your game. Remember, keep the nerve. Keep the nerve. Keep the nerve. Keep the nerve. We're talking about peace.
I was saving this for the coup de grace anyway. But yeah, you gonna have me and Gil all day tomorrow, man. I'm ready to start writing right now. To be honest with you, bro. Huge inspiration in my life, man.
Word. So that's a joint that he did called "The Message to the Messenger," man, where he laid it down for the rappers. You know what I mean? And the message on that joint speaks for itself. It's powerful.
Yeah.
They didn't listen to none of it. Well, some of them didn't.
I think a lot more have that they just ain't making it to the mainstream, man.
Yeah, I'll pull back and say some of them, but yeah, that's a hell of a roadmap right there. So yeah. All right, fellas.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, another successful one in the books.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Hope our tune-in game was high. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. So, catch us next week, Thursday, 8:00.
Yeah, let your folks know. Bring your swords next week. Head chopping season.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring all 5 of them.
All right, y'all. Holla at y'all.
All right.
Cheers.